Junior, honey.
Good morning, Americans. It's Paul Harvey. Stand by for news. Two blondes, Katie and Nicole, walk into a bar. Each orders a drink. They sit down and begin toasting and cheering 51 days. 51 days. Well, 5 minutes later, another blonde, Patty, walks in, orders a drink, and joins the other two in the cheering. Finally, another blonde, Sally, walks in with what looks like a cardboard picture. She puts the picture thing in the middle of the table, and again, they all begin to cheer. 51 days, 51 days. The bartender starts to get extremely curious, so he walks over, only to discover that the picture is a Cookie Monster puzzle with approximately 12 pieces. He walks over and asks Katie, "What on earth are you doing?" Well, Katie says, "Everyone thinks blondes are stupid, but we proved them wrong. On the box of this puzzle, it says 2 to 4 years, but we finished in 51 days. Paul Harvey."
Oh!
Good day. 10:02 at 560 WQAM. Happy Tuesday. It's the 24th de Julio, baby. El 24 de Julio. You notice how I'm becoming very bi lately?
Bipolar?
Mm-hmm. Lindsay Lohan is out of jail. She was in again overnight. She's got issues, you might say. Anybody care about that bitch? No, I sure don't. Oh, look at this. Accused of drunk driving, possession of coke. Things go better with coke, she said. But she's out of jail again, according to TMZ.com. Law enforcement officials say she was cooperative in jail, but were told she was very upset. Oh, poor baby. A law enforcement source at Santa Monica Jail tells TMZ she did just about everything we asked. Well, in that case, no wonder they let her out. So what didn't she do? She refused to admit to a PASD, a preliminary alcohol screening device. That's a chemical test administered in the field to determine blood alcohol levels. But anyway, a breath test was conducted, and her blood alcohol was between 0.12 and 0.13. Legal in California is 0.08. She was a little bit high. Search of her person was conducted, and cocaine was found in her pantalooni's pocket. I bet you they were reaching deep into her pockets, and they found some white powder. Are you? Why does anybody care about this bitch? I mean, it's like a joke.
I don't know. It is.
And why do they keep letting her out? Why do they keep giving bail on this bitch every time they let her out? She just had another DUI over the weekend. For Christ's sakes, what is wrong with you, America? What is wrong? Are you a bunch of crazy people or what, huh?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, that explains it. And if that isn't crazy enough, this thing about Drew Carey, oh, my God. I think Bob Barker's going to change his mind and come back. What do you think?
Okay.
CNN says genial comic Drew Carey. Don't you love that? Genial comic? Well, what's genial about him?
I don't know.
He's fat?
Okay.
He's fat and stupid-looking and acting and not funny? Genial comic Drew Carey was tapped yesterday to replace silver-haired legend Bob Barker on the CBS daytime game show The Price is Right. The deal was set yesterday afternoon, shortly before the taping of the CBS Late Show with David Letterman, where he confirmed it. I realize what a big responsibility this is. He said it's only a game show, but it's the longest-running game show in American TV, and I plan to keep it that way, he said. You go, Drew. You lunatic.
You fairy.
The selection attracted more attention than usual for a daytime show because of the prospect of replacing old Bob, 83. 83 freaking years old. That means I've only got 19 years to go on this show. Barker retired after 35 years in the job last month following the taping of his 6,586th episode. The opening attracted widespread interest, including from comic Rosie O'Donnell after she left The View with Baba Walter with her speech defect. The View. Carey, 49, spent a decade on his own ABC sitcom and was also host of the improvisational game show Whose Line Is It Anyway? Well, I never saw that. What is that?
I never saw it.
Good. Did you see it, Chris?
Yeah, Whose Line? Yeah, it's a good show.
Even with him on it?
He wasn't the big part of it. It was they had four comedians who act out scenes.
Oh, I saw a little bit of that. It was okay. It could be okay. Only saw it.
He'll also be the host of the new CBS primetime game show, The Power of 10, that airs next month. He told the A&P yesterday that CBS officials first contacted him about The Price is Right immediately after he completed the plot of the other game show this spring, The Power of 10. Robert Grieper's favorite game show is The Power of 9. Yeah, that's what I heard. You know Robert Grieper, the Lord of the Board, the Grim Reaper? Him.
Mm-hmm.
That a-hole. My agent called me and said I was talking to CBS casting day, and in my head I was thinking, oh, CSI guest star, and he said, what would you think about replacing Bob Barker on The Price is Right? Asked if he found the prospect of replacing such a TV legend daunting, he recalled talking to a friend who knows the game show business who told him, as long as Bob Barker is cool with it, the fans will be cool with it too. Well, how are we going to know if old Bob is cool with it? I'm cool with it, Barker said after hearing Kerry's remarks. See, that's how we know. That was quick, wasn't it?
Sure was.
This is the problem-solving show. That's why so many people enjoy the show. If there's a problem in the world, we solve it. Like that morning show. We're going to be solving that problem pretty soon, too. Not we. Don't look at me. I got nothing to do with that. That's the rumor I'm hearing. Aren't you hearing that same rumor? Yes. Barker said he's not familiar enough with Kerry's past performances to offer an opinion on his selection, but he said, I understand he ad-libs very well, that he has a nice, friendly way of working, and I think both of those things would be helpful to him on The Price is Right. His advice for Kerry, go out there and do the show the way you think it should be done. Don't imitate me and don't imitate anybody else. Bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bow. Drew Carey, man, he's going to be really dynamite. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong show. So Lindsay Lohan is in and out of jail again overnight while you were sleeping. She was in and out. I mean, what's the big deal with her? Is she like really hot number or something like that? Maybe she was for about 5 minutes once.
Right, for 5 minutes, back when she still had some weight, before she was all coked out and drunk and hagged out,
really?
And sun-fried and bleached and freckled and
she
hagged
looks
out.
Like crap on two legs right now.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get into all this other stuff, because I got a huge pile of stuff, because I haven't been on since last Thursday, and then this Thursday I only got 3 hours, because I got to get out of here. George will be on 1 to 2 on Thursday. You got a heavy-duty schedule this week. That's good.
It's all right.
So Josh Cordes didn't come in and give you a black eye or anything over that taking?
No. We all got our story straight.
Till 7 in the morning?
Yeah.
You were out. You said you got home 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But it isn't true, though.
Sure it is.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Well, then why do you say that's what I said?
Because it is what I said.
Yeah. But you said it in such a way as if to make it sound like you lied, like you just fabricated it.
Nope.
Yeah. Didn't he lie, Chris? What did he tell you?
Yeah, 7 o'clock is when I got home.
Here's your poll from yesterday, and boy, did it suck bad. In fact, look at that. We got more votes already today than you had all day yesterday.
You changed it at 2:03.
Yes, that's right.
Why do you make it sound like A, like you don't have it on twice as long as the one that I put on there, and B, like it matters?
Because I feel like it.
Okay.
843 votes on today's poll. Chris can just sit back fat and sassy because we got 1,000 licked. We got it licked today. Now, this poll yesterday was okay, but it was so obvious. I mean, I voted for the same thing that won.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
What type of product or service do well-intentioned people most commonly purchase but never use? Exercise equipment, of course, 278. I got a treadmill. I got a exercise bike in the house down there. When I'm there, do I use them? No. I have used them. I will say that. Sparingly, but I don't use them. Exercise equipment wins hands down your pants. Gym membership, 168. Same thing. Say anything that's going to get us into good shape. Mm-hmm. Most of us are too lazy. We don't want to be bothered by it. Everybody joins a gym because it's the thing to do. Plus, a lot of people want to go and take their showers with other people naked. Look at that. Those are the only two with any votes. Extended service warranty, only 34. A juicer, 29. Oh, I did that when I had the first big satellite dish. The Juicy Man. Not this Juicy Man that's on now. In fact, I think the Juicy Man that used to be on it, what was his name? I don't know.
I don't know.
He's dead. The only one that's still on is Jack LaLanne, who just turned 185 and has no teeth. A juicer, 29. Home improvement tool supplies, 13. Condoms, 13. They buy them with the best of intentions and high hopes, but they never get around to using them. Or maybe the home improvement tool supplies, 13. Condoms, 13. They buy them with the best of intentions and high hopes, but they never get around to using them. Or maybe they're just in too much of a hurry to, think about using them, and then, of course, they pay the price. Fresh fruits and veggies, 13. We buy them and we don't ever use them. What do you do? Just stick them in the fridge and they just rot there and then you throw them out?
That's what happens.
Oh. Like I got some shrooms in my refrigerator and also some hot peppers. Some not hot peppers, but what do you call them?
Pepperoncinis?
Yeah, like that. Pepperoncinis. And they're going to get thrown out. A musical instrument, 10. Books, 8. Yeah, that's true. I got so many books in my bookshelf there that I've never read. Never even opened them yet. But it looks very impressive.
Sure does. And
cleaning products, 3. Well, that's... I don't even understand that. Why would you buy them if you're never going to use them?
Because you're lazy and a slob.
569 votes on yesterday's very, very paltry poll, but you did have a stupendous response on our website yesterday. I don't know what that was all about. Wow. In fact, maybe the audience is coming back. Because George is doing such a fabulous job this summer. In fact, just to honor the great job George is doing, theme from his favorite TV show.
Let me say it again. We posted the pictures on there.
Oh, you posted the pictures from your
the Friday night date, yeah.
Oh, that's why you had so much. I thought maybe you had a good show.
Well,
She turned 21 earlier this month and checked out of rehab July 15th. Well, today's only the 24th, 9 days later. Maybe she needs to go back into rehab, like with Brittany. Maybe the two of them can put their heads together or something. She was in a car chase. I threw out the other part of it. She was chasing a Cadillac Escalade. Maybe she liked it. Maybe she wanted to pull it over and drive it.
You like it?
Yeah, she liked it. 850 votes on today's poll already. Your favorite black TV series from the past. And by the way, I don't care. Some of you MySpace people need to be put into outer space, like our friend Sean, the Felix the Cat guy. He sends me a lot of interesting stories, and I appreciate that. But I don't need to know that because you're a white guy and you don't watch much TV anyhow, you don't watch black shows. I don't really care. I don't need to know that.
Anyway.
What?
What kind of a bigoted comment is that anyway?
Yeah, what a stupid thing that is. So if you don't watch it, don't vote on the poll. I don't need to get an email from you like that, you schmuck, you putz. And speaking of schmucks and putzes, Al Rogers, so help me God, if you ever darken our MySpace or anywhere else near me again, we're going to darken your face, okay? Like what they used to use, blackface, what do they call that? Like charcoal.
Blackface, right.
Yeah, going to get some blackface.
Like grease paint.
No, seriously, just stay the hell away. I don't want nothing to do with you, Al Rogers. I don't care about your politics. I don't care about your, you're invited to some big thing for a Dennis Kucinich. I'll hear it from somebody else. I don't want to hear it from you. When I delete you and block you, that's a message. Any sane person would understand. I don't want to hear from you. Go stalk somebody else. Leave me alone. Oh, my God. You know, one thing we don't like on this show, George and I may disagree on many things, and we do, but one thing we agree on, we don't like people like that.
Right. Crazies. Not crazy about the crazies.
No. And once crazy, always crazy.
Always. There is no going back. There is no forgiveness. There is no therapy. There is no...
by the way, the guy with the eyes clone has been heavy duty lately. Oh, boy.
Good.
No, not good.
Well, the original's down here marauding us, so, yeah. Why should you?
What do you mean by that?
Why should you, be exempt?
Yeah. Give me a spin now! Now! He's pointing. Now, and there's nothing there blank. You jackass! You simpleton! You idiot!
You fairy!
Spread 'em and say cheese.
In the past, if you wanted performance, you sacrificed fuel efficiency. And if you desired fuel efficiency, you had to give up performance. Until now. Introducing the Toyota Prius 420.
It goes 0 to 100 in 6.3 tokes.
The Toyota Prius 420 comfortably fits you and 3 of your biggest buds.
And there's room for 3 of your friends, too.
The Prius 420 comes well-equipped with leather, cup holders, and several small compartments to stash away your valuables. Plus, front and side airbags are standard.
It comes with a bag? Cool.
Smoke and Track magazine says, finally, hybrid meets hydroponics. Bong and Driver rates it best in grass. And it's High Times magazine's Car of the Year. The Prius 420 from Toyota.
Oh, what a feeling.
10:18 at 560. So I'm looking on our homepage. I'm looking for these pictures of your big date. I don't see them. Where are they?
There's a section called Pictures, and they're at the top of it.
Oh, pictures?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Oh, I see. So I got to click on a little camera there. Pictures.
Yeah. Or you could go to my
George's
MySpace site and get a multimedia presentation.
Who's BB? BB Rebozo?
Yeah, Natasha, Josh's girlfriend. Big boobs. She has them.
Wow, she's got gigantic watermelons.
Yeah, they match, too. They're very symmetrical. And they're real.
Holy cow, you look 100 years old.
Well, I am.
Doesn't he, Chris?
I don't think he looks 100.
Maybe 150.
Oh, get out of town, man. I have never, ever seen such a shocking photo in my life.
You sure about that?
Maybe the one with Brady Quinn with his hands on that guy's crotch. But other than that, holy cow. That's what happens when you don't see somebody for a long time. You look older than me.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, Gramps.
You look old.
I know.
You're the old man. So the good news is that George sent those things out in the mail, those certificates to my close personal buddy. I forgot to send you the $100 though, but I'll do it this week.
All right.
Well, no, see, the longer I take before I send it to you, the longer you'll have before you can spend it.
Right.
We have 1,497 MySpace friends, by the way. I'm thinking that maybe today we can get those 3 more and get to 1,500. I bet you Miguel, if he were still around and hadn't gotten stabbed in the back and fired, I bet you he'd be really proud of me for that. 1,500 on an old fort. And we don't have any make-believe MySpace friends. We don't have to play that game. In fact, why don't they just call themselves over there across the street the Make-Believe Sports Station? Wouldn't that be good since LeBastard is obsessed with a Make-Believe Joe Zagacki and a Make-Believe Hank Goldberg and a Make-Believe... How about the Make-Believe audience for the Make-Believe Sports Station? Wouldn't that be good?
Okay.
You've heard of the Toronto Make-Believe?
Sure, little cardboard audience.
Oh, and that thing that Barry Jackass has got, I'll get to that eventually. You know, the other day, it seems to me, didn't I take some calls last time I was on 100 weeks ago? Don't expect that today. It went pretty well, actually. And that's now, how are your calls going? Pretty good?
Stupendous.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Not great. Well, it's the middle of July. It's the end of July. Jesus,
no, we've had some great calls.
You have had?
Had some female callers.
Yeah.
I don't know, why is George laughing at you when you say we've had some great calls?
He's just talking about the good ones that we've had.
Oh,
not the 90% of the bad ones.
South Florida Sports Fantastic Four, Barry Jackass did, and he had the people vote out there on the most important, what were they supposed to be? The people who mattered most in the history of South Florida sports, and Don Shula and Dan Marino. Danny Boy, oh, Danny Boy. I always wondered about those Batman lips of his, you know. Hey, Danny.
You fairy.
But anyhow. He used to listen to my show once in a while. He probably doesn't even know I'm still on the air. I know the Shoesmeister, the brainstem, he was kind of confused. Remember that time he was on with Hank and I called him the brainstem? They were sitting over there at Shula's...
Yeah, he didn't know you were talking about him.
Yeah. He had no idea. Oh, that Neil. Is he still on the air? Ho, 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 ho. And one thing about Shula, he's like the Ronald Reagan of sports. He's been senile for 100 years, but he's a hell of a guy. We love you, Don. He ain't no Cam Cameron, but then again, who is? Boy, are they going to suck this year or what? I see they signed that kid quarterback. How come they didn't sign Brady Quinn? How come they didn't draft his ass? You want to know why? Because they think he's...
Gay.
That's right. They already had a
gay
defensive back here not too many years ago. I could give you his name on here, but I better not do it. You know who I'm talking about, Chris?
Not offhand.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you tomorrow morning before the show.
Tomorrow or Thursday?
Thursday morning.
Okay.
No, I'm coming in here tomorrow morning to tell you who's gay and who's not gay.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
That's the wrong show for that. By the way, that morning show of ours, when is that going off? Pretty soon, I understand?
About 30, man.
30 days? Yeah. Anyway, there's a list here of, there were 16,879 votes. And to show you what a one-horse town it is, and the fact that the Panthers are still there, I mean, thank God we unloaded that and they're going to be across the street along with the, what's his name? But the only hockey player to even get listed, there's a list of 700 people on here. Some of whom I never heard of, even the sports maven than I am, like, where's this one name? I can't even pronounce it. I can't even pronounce it, much less have any idea who the person was. Nick, K-O-T-Y-S. Nick Cotis? Cotis? Chris?
Cody's, I would guess.
Cooties?
Cooties. Nick Cooties got 84 votes. I never even heard of Nick Cooties. Codice? Cotis?
What did he do?
What do you mean, what did he do? I don't know. What the hell do I know, Nick? Google it. K-O-T-Y-S.
Go on.
Nick, K-O-T-Y-S. But anyway, the only hockey player on here is the Beezer, John Van Beesbrook, with the 42 votes. Pavel Bure didn't even make the list. Didn't even make the list. Luis Crocco got 9. What a crock that is. I don't know who that bitch is. Luis Crocco?
Legendary Coral Gables football coach Nick Cody's, who passed away on July 30th.
Of what year? Or does that mean he's going to pass away in 6 days? Hey, Nick, you better take it easy. Maybe you're going to die in 6 days.
In 05.
05, oh. Never heard of him. And he got, how many votes did I say? A bunch. 84 votes. And isn't it also interesting that Pudge Rodriguez and Alex Rodriguez are like side by each, 151 for Pudge and 132. I'll say this for Pudge Rodriguez. He still looks good. He lost a lot of weight after he stopped doing them steroids, after that investigation and everything. In fact, he lost 90 pounds just in his ass. But he still looks good to me. He's a pretty man. You know what I mean? Can you say that? In the sports fraternity, can you say that he's a pretty man?
In the sports fraternity, they say it all the time, don't they?
Do they? Yeah. Probably to each other. Oh, you're a pretty man. Let me check out your muscles. Okay, here's today's poll. Who was your favorite, what was your favorite black TV series in the past? And the fact that Sean Felix the Cat doesn't, I don't care if you don't watch black shows. That's all right if you're a racist son of a bitch. If it's a good show, you'll watch it. The hell difference does it make? Sanford and Son, 303, they're winning hands down. And George says that's because it was not intellectual like the Jeffersons.
It was just fine.
It was not just fine. I hated that show. I liked Red Fox just fine, but not on that show. Oh, you hear that? My phone is ringing in the other room. I bet something really important.
Better go get it.
No, go get it? No way. Sanford and Son 303, the Jeffersons 144. Now, how can the Jeffersons get beat out?
Well, we're moving on now. We're moving on up to the side.
By Sanford and Son. Do you think there's any comparison between the two shows? Give me an honest answer. Don't give me one of these intellectual, analyze it.
I like the Jeffersons much better.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Not even close.
Still, I like Sanford and Son.
It's like America with vanilla ice cream. It's the obsession with mediocrity. Sanford and Son was just a mediocre show. Jeffersons was hysterical.
I like the
But they don't like it because what's his name? George Jefferson. What's the guy's name that played him?
Fred Sanford?
No,
Red
the guy
Fox.
that played George Jefferson.
His real name is Sanford.
Jefferson.
Oh, Jefferson. Oh, the gay guy?
Yeah, that's
Sherman
Helmsley.
Helmsley.
Sherman Helmsley. Amos and Andy 83, which is another joke because there ain't anybody old enough in this audience except me and Chicken Neck to know what that show was even all about. They got 83. That's the joke vote. Good Times 59. I might just have... No, that's not it. I'm going to have to play that theme again. The Cosby Show 59. In Living Color 45. And a whole bunch of other ones, which I'll read after the break, because the list it'll take us till 1:30 to read the whole list.
Holy Mackinac! This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're listening to the hockey authority, Neil God.
Neil God.
Huh?
Neil God.
Yeah, we heard it the first 15 times. We got it.
By my bed, and my head aches when I think of the money I have blown. I'm out of cash and the bank says I cannot get a loan to buy the iPhone. He needs the iPhone. I want it because it's a real wowzer. It has its own web browser, along with Wi-Fi, email, and iPod. I'll check out every Apple store from LA to Bayonne, because I need this sucker like my doggy needs his bone. Must have an iPhone. He needs the iPhone. Hello, I'm here for the iPhone.
Yeah, we're out of it.
What?
We're sold out?
You can't be sold out. They just went on sale.
No, you can have one in a few months.
I can't wait a few months. I gotta have one now.
No, not gonna happen,
I
but...
need to have the iPhone.
No, you gotta wait.
No, I can't wait.
I'll put you on the list.
Oh, it will be a living hell if I have to keep my stupid Nextel.
God, I love that color screen. Service light is always green. Coolest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, I need the iPhone, or both my kids will disown. All they'll do is bitch and moan until they get the iPhone. All right, quit kidding around. I need the iPhone.
Just get out of the store.
What do you mean get out of the store?
Get out.
Get out of the store. That's exactly what I would say. 10:32 at 560 WQAM. It's a Tuesday, baby. Let's look at that schedule and see what kind of falderall and hijinks and low jinks we got. Mad Dog at 2. I guess it's just like a regular schedule is what it is. Mad Dog at 2. Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog 4 to 5. The Humper, Hank Goldberg 5 to 7. Miami Dolphins all ass 7 to 9 because we got to kiss a lot of Dolphins ass to get those games on the air. So every night of the week we put some Dolphins crap on, even though it's like the end of July. Although I guess it's getting kind of close. NFL told Michael Vick, stay home, baby. Isn't that what they said, Chris?
Correct.
Stay home. I think I threw that out. I had it here somewhere in my pile. Did I throw that out? Oh, geez, that's bad. I trunned it out. I'm getting way ahead of myself, so I better slow down. Dolphins all ass 7 to 9. Then the Marlins on deck at 9 because they're playing out there in Arizona. The old Diamondbacks at 9:40 is game time. What kind of a time is that? Oh, I guess that's 6:40 out there. And then ESPN Radio overnight, which nobody listens to. They shut that baby off. So that's our schedule for the rest of the day. How did they do last night, the Marlins? Your Marlins, Chris?
They lost 4-3.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. Que tragique. What are we going to do now? That whole deal. You got such mediocrity anyhow. It's pathetic. What was your favorite black TV series from the past? This is a Charlie B poll, no doubt, right? Yes, it is. I got it right here in front of me. Well, I used it. I mean, because I had it. Not that it's great. It's okay, Charlie. 919 votes already. Already, Chris, are you ready for that?
Yeah,
and we didn't put this on until 2:03 yesterday.
Oh, that's all?
Sanford and Son 312, Jefferson's 149. That is an insomnia. Oh, and guess what's on? Was on last night. It's been on all over the place. The Godfather, unedited, no commercials. Uno, dos, and tres, side by each, back to back. I can't. Honestly, what I do is I sit there and I start there. I mean, there's nobody here, but I'm giving the dialogue out loud. Don't ever take sides against the family again. Ever. You don't come to Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like that. Anyway, Amos and Andy, 83. Good Times, 59. One of the really bad shows with a really great theme, even though George hates the theme because he's a racist bastard.
Bad show with a bad theme.
Cosby Show, 59. Oh, you didn't like, what's his name? Oh, and Living Color's got 48, and we left that off of there, and it's a good thing you remember.
I put it on there just so I could vote for it.
Wow, just a nicotine.
It might have won.
48. Well, we got a long way to go. We got till tomorrow, unless you decide to change the poll at 2:01.
I'll change it at 150.
I don't care what you do. Go right ahead. Have a good time with it. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, 41, with the highly unctuous, what's his name?
Will Smith.
Will Smith. Oh, I tried to forget it, but you brought it back again. He makes me ill. Will makes me ill. The Wayans brothers, 25. 26, is that Damon and, how many are there? The Wayman, 100 Wayans brothers?
Mm-hmm.
Every time there's a big fight, they show up at the weigh-in. Different Strokes, 21. Fat Albert, 18. What's Happening, 17. Roots, 14. The Bernie Mac Show, 14. Martin, 10. Is that my favorite Martin?
No, you're not going to like Martin.
Oh, I never seen it. Family Matters, 10. Well, why is that?
It sucks.
Oh, Living Single, 8. 227, 5. That's 227 had 5. Rock had 5. What's Rock?
Comedy. It was live. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't all that funny.
It wasn't that good. Different World, 5. The Sinbad Show, 4. It was kind of like Drew Carey. Not that funny and not that good. Hanging with Mr. Cooper, 3. Amen, 2. Or is that Amen, 2. What's Happening Now, 1, as opposed to just plain old What's Happening. The Steve Harvey Show, 1. That doesn't sound like a black guy to me. Steve Harvey?
He's quite black.
Is he? With a name like that?
Incredibly black.
He's kin to Paul Harvey.
Blacker than coal.
Blacker than Paul Harvey? The Parkers won. The Parenthood won. Now, that's bad. That is such a stupid-ass name. Why does America do stuff like that? It's like the whole bubonics thing, man. The Parenthood, my ass. The Jamie Foxx Show won. In the House won. Let's take it to the house. He's taking it to the house. Seriously, there's so many stupid people out there that just it gives me spilkies thinking about it. If I had $1 for every stupid person running around on the loose in the world, I could buy the world. In the House won. Moesha, none, and Malcolm and Eddie ain't got none. With a name like Moesha, or is that Moishi? Maybe it's a Jewish black show. Moishi?
Might be. Maybe it's
Moesha.
Falasha.
And Malcolm and Eddie, none, out of 921. What kind of a name is Moesha? Is that like Letitia and Farisha and Kakamunisha? 928 votes, though. Boy, we might have 1,000, not 1,000, but pretty darn close to it by the top of the hour, Chris. Wow.
Cool.
Ordinarily, you have your work cut out, but not today.
Well, thank you.
Thank me for what?
For, changing it so early.
Yeah, that's why I did it. It's called Neil's Head Start program on the poll. That way we slide into 1,000 really easy. You don't have to get all stressed out about it. Life is too short to get stressed out. And look at those pictures of George.
Yeah.
God, you look old. I mean,
I am old.
When's the last time we've seen each other?
I don't know. I don't know.
5 years?
Maybe.
No, get out of here.
Maybe 3.
3 years?
Maybe.
In those 3 years, you've aged 40.
I got a haircut, and I have gray hair, so when you have a fresh haircut, all the gray really stands up.
Okay, you don't look old.
Well, I do look old.
Oh. Well, then why are you making excuses then?
All right.
I mean, would you like me saying, I'm only almost 65, but I'm not old. I'm old.
Yeah, me too.
Nothing wrong with getting old. In fact, getting old is better than the alternative, although in your case I'm not so sure. Jimmy Breslin says, impeach George Bush to stop war, lies, and deaths. Do I have time to read this before the break? I'm sure I don't. But that's coming, Jimmy Breslin, who retired, but now I guess he came out of retirement just to write this. It's a good column, which he wouldn't come out of retirement to write, a crappy column. How's the Humper doing, by the way? Has he lost an ounce or two or what? I haven't seen him in a long, long time. Haven't seen any of you guys. Do I sound sad about it?
No.
Am I sad about it?
No.
Oh, well, how do you know that?
You're not sad about it.
Well, I talk to you every damn day during the
years. I tell people, I've spent more time talking to Neil over the years than everybody else I know put together. And staring across the glass at you.
Right.
So.
And enough was enough.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Now, what's the story with our sales department? We decided to talk to a bunch of idiots?
Just move along.
I mean, I don't understand what happened to Brian Schmutz. He must have undergone some kind of a lobotomy when he left, because he came back like Jack Nicholson in Cuckoo's Nest after the lobotomy. He just came back drained of a brain. That's the problem in this town. It's the QM brain drain. And then, of course, Hank Guerrero, although in his case you have to have a brain before you can drain it. He's the missing one, Hank Guerrero. Am I right?
Absolutely.
No, right.
This is G. Gordon Liddy, and they don't come any worse than Neil Rogers.
It's the summer movie giving you that uneasy feeling in the pit of your stomach.
You're Harry Potter.
Harry Potter and the Order of Fries.
Let the feast begin.
Something's gone wrong inside me.
Concentrate, Potter. Focus.
I didn't ask for this to happen.
Harry Potter!
Harry must use his powers to purge the evil trans fats. Harry Potter and the Order of Fries.
At the moment you've all been waiting for.
That felt good.
Everybody, just calm down. Shall we?
Rated PG. Partial regurgitation required.
10:45. I didn't see the movie. I didn't buy the book or read the book, and I have no interest. I couldn't care about Harry Potter. How do you like that?
Okay, you're lucky.
I'm an old fart, and then again, so are you.
Right.
God, you look old. That's scary.
Well,
you know, when you haven't seen somebody in a while, and then you see them for the first time in a while, and you look and you see and this isn't even seeing it. This is just a picture. If you look that bad in a picture, I can only imagine what you look like in person.
No, like hell.
Good God. See, all these things that he's been bellyaching and bitching about, his horrible home life and all this is all true, man. It's taking its toll now. It's a good thing I'm not there to see it. I'd probably be reduced to tears.
Probably.
Oh, look at poor George. Oh, my God. You look pretty old. But anyway, you look like you're having a good time there.
Oh, yeah.
Especially eyeing and squeezing them big boobies. Impeach George Bush to stop war, lies, and death, says Jimmy Breslin. I'm walking in Rosedale on this day early in the week while I wait for the funeral of Army soldier LaRon Wilson, who died at age 18 in Iraq. He was 17 and a half when he had his mother sign his enlistment papers at the Jamaica recruiting office. If she didn't, he told her, he would just wait for the months to his 18th birthday and go in anyway. He graduated from Thomas Edison High School at noon one day in May. He left right away for basic training. He came home in a box last weekend. He had a fast war. The war was there to take his life because George Bush started it with bold-faced lies. He got this lovely kid killed by lying. If Bush did this in Queens, he would be in court on Queens Boulevard on a murder charge. He did it in the White House, and it's appropriate and mandatory for the good of the nation that impeachment proceedings be started. You can't live with lies. You can't permit them to be passed on as if it's the thing to do. Yesterday, Bush didn't run the country for a couple of hours while he had a colonoscopy at the presidential retreat in Camp David. He came out of it all right. He should now take his good health and go home, quit a job he doesn't have a clue as how to do. The other day, Bush said he couldn't understand why in the world would some people say that millions of Americans have no health insurance. Why? All they have to do is go to the emergency room, he said. Said this with a smirk, the insolent, smug, contemptuous way he speaks to the citizens. Smirking chimp. People, especially these politicians, these frightened beggars in suits, seem petrified about impeachment. It could wreck the country. Ridiculous. I've been around this business twice and we're all still here and no politician was even injured. Richard Nixon lied during a war and helped get some 58,500 Americans killed and many escaped by hanging on the helicopter skids. Nixon left peacefully. Mike Mansfield of Montana, the Democratic Senate Majority Leader, said on television that the Senate impeachment trial of Nixon would be televised and there would be no immunity. That meant Nixon would have to face the country under oath, and if he lied, he'd go to prison. He knew he was finished as he heard this. Mansfield said no more. He got up and left. Barbara Walters on the Today Show said, he doesn't say very much, does he? The second time the subject was Bill Clinton for illegal holding in the hallway. This time we have dead bodies involved. Consider what's accomplished by the simple power of the word impeachment. If you read these broken-down news writers or terrified politicians claiming that impeachment would leave the nation in pieces, don't give a moment to them. It opens with the appointing of an investigator to report to the White House on evidence that calls for impeachment. He could bring witnesses forward. That would be all you'd need. Here in the impeachment proceedings against Richard Nixon came John Dean. His history shows how far down the honesty and honor of this country has gone. Dean was the White House counsel. Richard Nixon, at his worst, never told him not to appear or remain silent in front of the Congress. Dean went on and did his best to fill prisons. After that came Alexander Butterfield, a nobody. All he had to say was the White House had a taping system that caught all the conversations in the White House. Any of them not on tape were erased by a participant. The same is desperately needed now. Curious, following the words of an investigator. The mind here sees George Mitchell and Warren Rudman, you name me better, can slap a hand on the slitherers and sneaks who kept us at war for 5.5 years and who used failing generals to beg for more time and more lives of our young. A final word in September. 2 years more, the generals and Bush people say. Say impeachment and you'll get our troops home. As I'm walking in Rosedale on these streets sparkling with sun, I remember the places I've been in the cold rain for the deaths of our young in this war. Rosedale now, Washington Heights before in the South Bronx, and Bayshore and Hauppauge, how do you say that? And too many other places around here. How the hell do you say that? Hauppauge?
Hauppauge? I don't know.
Get out of here. And in Washington we had this Bush, and it's implausible to have anyone who's this dumb running anything smirking at his country. He sure doesn't mind copying those people. On his PBS television show the other night, Bill Moyer said he was amazed at Sarah Taylor of the White House staff saying that she didn't have to talk to a congressional committee because George Bush ordered her not to. I took an oath to uphold the president, she said. That president had been in charge of a government that kidnapped, tortured, lied, intercepted mail and calls, all in the name of opposing people who are willing to kill themselves right in front of you. You have to get rid of a government like this. Ask anybody in Rosedale where LaRon Wilson wanted to live his young life. His grave speaks out of this as an impeachable offense. That's what Jimmy Breslin says. Hauppauge? Is that Long Island?
I don't know.
One of those, I don't know. You have to be from New York to know what the hell that is. And people are saying, oh, did you hear how he said that? Oh, like I really care, okay? Like I really give a crap. Because tomorrow's payday. Payday is more than just a candy bar. Keep that in mind, Fat Jolly Joe. It's more than just a candy bar, payday. And if it doesn't show up today or tomorrow, I'm going to be yelling Mayday. Wouldn't it be something if I didn't show up at all on Thursday? If that check, it'll be there. That's because Deb is back in accounting as opposed to whoever that incompetent was last time that was filling in. There's nothing worse than bad to fill in. 9:49 on the poll, and I'm really PO'd, man. That's Sanford and Son. What is that all about? Now, you were trying to explain it to me before the show today. Maybe you can explain it to our vast audience what that's all about.
If you didn't think it was funny, I can help you. It was lowbrow.
Why does anybody in their right mind want to live there? Because they're stupid-ass Brits. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It was lowbrow, yet it was funny.
It wasn't funny.
All right, then.
Sanford and Son?
You know, a lot of things in the world are funny, and you don't think so.
Yeah. And what about the Jeffersons?
And that's one of them.
Funny?
It
wasn't 100 times funnier than Sanford and Son will ever be?
No, not 100 times funnier. Better show, maybe funnier, a little bit.
A little while ago, you said you liked it much better than Sanford and Son. Now all of a sudden, a little bit. Just because I said you look 400 years old, now you're turning. See?
I think
how he turns Chris like a cornered rat.
I never thought it was funny for a second.
Oh, you're starting to sound a little wheezy to me now. Which would it rather be, queasy or wheezy? Every character on that show was great. Now, who just died? Which was the one that just died? It was the husband of the white couple upstairs, whatever their name was. Was it him?
I think so, yeah, the Willises.
Or was it the Willises, or was it her, Roxy,
I don't
whatever
know.
her name was? And what song did she sing?
That one, the theme song there.
Oh, she sang that? That's Roxy Bernstein? I mean, I knew he had a high-pitched, squeaky voice, but I didn't know it was that high. Roxy Foxy Bernstein. If you have a bad voice, come to QAM. We'll hire you and we'll put you on the air, baby. We'll give you your own show. And if you're really a dumb dullard, especially if you once wore a jockstrap, we'll build a statue to you in front of the building. 950 votes on the poll, and Moesha and Malcolm and Eddie still got the big... Nothing. Moesha, my ass. It's strictly a one-horse race. I was going to say a two-horse race. They can't all be really great like that. How did that turn out, that poll? Because you did the show the following day, the one with Sid the Kid and Hank and the most obnoxious.
Oh, I don't know. I think Hank won. I'm not sure.
And Mr. Ego? Steve Kane, Mr. Ego.
You can flip through the previous polls, you know.
You can keep going back?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
Or Eric can get them, whatever.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes,
you can go to history.
Yeah, that's the history, yeah.
Oh, well, you can't keep... You can go back to view previous and only goes one back. Don't be giving me bad information, okay? Oh, here's one. Should QM renew Mo's contract? That's a little late now, I guess. No, it's never too late. The most obnoxious, there it is, 2090. I'll give you the totals.
Hank Goldberg, 280.
The Humper won at 280. Sid the Kid, Sid the Id had 251. And Mr. Ego, 250. Boy, the battle for second was neck and neck, nose to nose, man. It was tight. It was really, really tight. Out of 1,541 vote, the second place separated by solamente uno. But the Humper, he beat him pretty handily, 280 to 251 and 250. Dan LeBastard gave it a shot, 166. And George came in a commendable fourth with 129. Castronova passed me like I was laying flat out with 97. He was a late addition, am I right about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a late addition. They still passed me 97. They hate you, Paul. They like my material the first time, but they don't like it the second time on your burnt-out old, and especially when you're on 15 hours a day and not 5 minutes of it is worth being on in the first place. Paulie, I had 96 right on Paul's ass. And Gildy was right on my ass, 94. Oh, that's bad. Especially with all those things I've heard about him. Gildy with 94. Boy, they turned on him like a rat once he left, once he departed and went across the street. I think he's on right now, Gildy. All you Gildy fans, turn over to 790. The Gildy Meister. He's on there right now. Probably a lot of hockey talk.
Hey, the Panthers. They're going to win the Stanley Cup, the Panthers.
Any interest in the Panthers? No. I mean, when John the Geezer is the only one that makes the list of the top 75,000 influential sports people in Florida history, then you know.
Mellenby's on there.
What?
Mellenby's on that list.
He is on the list?
Yeah.
Well, how come I missed that? Well, let me look at it again. There's the story about Jim Naugle again. I better read it so that they make sure they put him on the morning show one more time to spew his homophobia and hatred, which is what Bo Camper's all about. Where are you looking? How many votes has he got?
He was near the bottom. I'm going back to the page now.
Scott Mellenby is on there? I don't see him at all.
Give me 1 second.
Because Louise Crocco is as far down the list as my thing printed out. She's got 9.
Scott Mellenby, 18 votes.
18 votes? Oh, there he is. Yeah, so I lied. Sorry. But, I mean, what's 18 votes anyway? And Pavel Bure don't have any? He's not on the list? I mean, let me ask you this question.
Well, what did he do while he was here, other than score 50 goals?
Twice.
Okay.
He was great. That was the most exciting season, even other than the Rats in the Stanley Cup final. But other than that, that was the most exciting season by far in the new building, I'll tell you that. By
but what
far.
did you say, other than that?
Other than that, what?
Other than the year of the Rat.
Oh, what do you know about hockey? Have you ever been to a hockey game?
Yes, I've been to a couple.
Wow. Woo! There's the expert.
Yeah, remember, I'm making $5 an hour, so.
You could get all the free tickets you want.
From here?
Yeah.
Not when we had them back then, no.
Well, what are you talking about back then? Like the team isn't still there? What you be talking about, boy? You talking crap. And George, of course, he's hanging out because he doesn't. I think George knows more about hockey than you do.
Yeah.
He's been to a game or two. Have you been to a game?
I've played a game or two.
No, seriously. Have you been to a hockey game?
I've been to like 5. 6.
More than Chris. How do you like that? See? We love the Panthers. Let's drop the puck, you schmuck. Boy, you suck. 10:57 at 5. So I'm talking to Chris, not anybody else. But then again, now what were you trying to peddle me there? Kind of nonsense, Narishkeit?
Yeah, he had 2 good years here, but they weren't that.
Pavel Bure was the most exciting athlete to ever play any sport in South Florida, bar none.
Yeah, okay.
And that's exactly the kind of response I'd expect from a dullard. No wonder they're paying you 40 cents an hour.
Well, thankfully,
you got to revert back to your old kissing my ass attitude. Then maybe they might pay you 50 cents an hour, but I doubt it.
No, actually, they'd probably fire me then.
Yeah, that's true. If you like me too much, that's why he turned on me. I saw what happened to Miguel. Now he's turned. I
warned him from the beginning.
Yeah.
This is the Neil Rogers Show.
Oh my God.
This is your brain.
Oh my God.
Any questions?
46% of the American people polled want Bush impeached.
I think it's time that Bush and Dick disappear. All of their lies are being used to keep us deep in fear.
Terrorists.
We seem to know
Terror.
that they should be locked up, 'cause we are seeing our tax money fill their wallets up.
58% want Cheney impeached.
There is torture, spying, and our Constitution has been shred. Maybe Congress would react if an intern gave them head. It's time It's about time. Why not impeach these a-holes?
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there. I made a serious mistake.
To a deluxe apartment in the sky. Moving on.
Even the theme, you know. I mean, is there any comparison between the two theme songs?
Yeah, the Sanford and Sons theme is much better.
Anyway, so one of our regular emailers here on MySpace says Michael Savage announced on his show that he plans to move to South Florida. Good place for him. So now we'll have be home to Savage and Drudge, who hate each other, Coulter and Limbaugh, all right-wing hypocrites. No. Also last week on Miss Fudge's national radio show, some redneck from Ocala called up and started saying, as your friend Neil Rogers says, swillery, and Drudge immediately cut him right off. Your friend Neil Rogers. He ain't no friend of mine.
You fairy.
Self-hating queen.
You fairy.
With a silly hat. But nevertheless, my good close personal friend Matt Fudge.
You fairy.
Who I'm sure is listening right now. Hey Matt, how's it hanging, sweetie? Self-hating. It didn't work for David Brock. It ain't going to work for you either. Always making some big bucks, you know. Thanks to Richard Mellon Scaife and the right-wing lunatics, he's making some big bucks. 970 votes on our poll. This hour we go over 1,000. There's Michael Vick. What a dog. Hey, dog. What's up, dog? While it's for the criminal justice system to determine your guilt or innocence, it's my responsibility as commissioner of the NFL to determine whether your conduct, Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, says, whether your conduct, come on, you can show the next page, even if not criminal, nonetheless violated league policies, including the personal conduct policy. Is there any question? His ass should be out right now. Am I right about that, Chris, or not? Yes.
Yeah.
When in doubt, throw his ass out. Dog fight my ass. Piece of turd. Sanford and Son, 324, man. And who the hell is Roger Goodell? Whatever happened to Paul Tagliabue? Boo, 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 boo. He's
He retired?
Did he really?
Yes.
Retire! And I guess he did. I'll tell you what, retires that Tony Harris on CNN, boy. Oh, my God. And there's poor David Stern from the NBA. All these sports things now, the big referee scandal. You don't think that he was fixing the calls there just because he was betting on the games, do you? Of course he was. And all the thing with the roids. Isn't this the week that Barry Bonds is going to break Hank Aaron's record? I'm pretty sure. Isn't this the week?
Yeah, probably, possibly.
Oh, no. And then, of course, if you're not rooting for him, then you're a racist, even though Hank Aaron was, I think, just as black and maybe even a little bit blacker than Barry Bonds, but you're a racist if you're not pulling for Barry. Barry, which rhymes with...
You fairy.
Sanford and Son, 324. Favorite TV black series. The Jeffersons, only 154. About half. Not even. And that's because of that good theme, I guess. Right, George?
That's right.
Must have been the good theme, because it sure wasn't because of the show. Amos and Andy, 87. Oh, yeah. The Cosby Show, 65. Is he still... He's not still doing them Jell-O pudding spots, is he, Bill Cosby?
I don't know.
No. In Living Color, 61. Good Times, 61, with a great theme song that George hates like poison because... I don't know.
Because it sucks?
He's got bad taste.
From the first note?
Anytime.
Oh. Brutal.
Here comes, this is the best part right here.
Keeping your head above water.
Keeping your head above water, man. What's wrong with that?
I wish they'd keep their head underwater.
Think or Thwim, baby. Think or Thwim. Good Times, 61. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, 43, with Will Smith. The Wayans brothers, 26. Damon and Moishi, and who the other ones? Who the other Damon Wayans brothers? Who's the one that was in Requiem for a Dream?
Marlon.
Marlon Brando?
Yes.
Marlon Wayans?
Yes.
I'll be damned. He was good.
Yes.
Everybody was good in that.
Yes.
You better see that if you're really... Unless you're, like, prone to do a lot of drugs, don't watch that movie. I may watch it again this week. I think I'm going to start doing drugs. Different Strokes, 22. Fat Albert, 19. What's Happening, 17. Roots, 15. The Bernie Mac Show, 14. Martin, 11. Now, Martin, to me, don't sound like a black show or a black guy or a black
Trust
anybody.
me.
Was black?
Yeah.
Family Matters, 11. Living Single, 8. A Different World, 6. 227, 5. What's 227?
I don't know.
No.
That was Martha Gibbs and
Martha Gibbs?
Yeah, and I forgot the, Jack Hay.
Oh. The Sinbad Show 5, that explains it. Rock 5, Hanging with Mr. Cooper 3. Hanging. Just hanging. Isn't that what Sodom said? What are you doing over there, Sodom? Just hanging. Amen 2, What's Happening Now 1. The Steve Harvey Show 1. The Parkers 1. The Parenthood 1. The Jamie Foxx Show 1. In the House 1. Let's Take It to the House. And Moesha none, and Malcolm and Eddie still got none. Out of almost 1,000 votes, we got 974. We got 1,000 made easy. That should be a lesson to you, George. Put the 982. Oh, this half hour we're going over 1,000 now. Aren't you impressed?
No.
Just pretend you are, okay?
No.
And then I'll send you the $100. If you don't,
Oh, wow.
Say yes, I'll send you, yeah, there we go.
All right.
Now we're talking. Well, Josh Cordes didn't seem the least bit concerned about the fact that you were pawing and clawing over his Russian girlfriend.
I wouldn't be if I were him either.
Why not?
Because that one night, that's like all the time for him. I mean, maybe not quite as spectacular, but nevertheless.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what he's got at home.
He's got access to that ass.
That's right.
Anytime, yeah. That's true. That's a good point. In fact, all these people that get all uptight about, well, so-and-so cheated on, yeah, well, what difference does it make?
Grow up. Everybody's cheating.
Everybody's cheating whenever the hell they can. And those who say they aren't, they're lying.
That's what Eddie Murphy said. Those who
aren't really want to. They would love to, but, oh, well, you know. You know why they don't? Because they're afraid they're going to get caught.
That's not
Isn't that what it is?
No.
What is it?
They don't have the opportunity.
But if they did have the opportunity, like with maybe Lindsay Lohan, because she's always in the mood,
Sure.
I guess. Wait till you hear this. This is going to just, I don't know. I just want to get on the floor and make guttural sounds. Want to cry like a baby. Americans support the U.S. invasion of Iraq in slightly higher numbers than previously. This is a brand new poll. In fact, the ink is still wet on here. But a majority say the war is going badly and that the U.S. troops should be withdrawn or scaled back, according to a poll released today. 42% of U.S. voters said that in retrospect, military action in Iraq had been the right thing to do, while 51% said Washington should have stayed out of Iraq. That's a New York Times CBS News poll conducted over the weekend. I mean, how come it ain't 99% saying, are you crazy or what? Why are you even asking this? 51% we should have stayed out, and 42% had been the right thing to do. Right. Support for the invasion hit its lowest point in May, with only 35% approving and 61% against. The poll also found that the number of people who say the war is going very badly had declined from 45 down to 35%. 29% now say the war is going somewhat well, compared with 23% last week. Yeah, somewhat well. Like, how's your terminal cancer going? Oh, somewhat well. However, a two-thirds majority continue to say the war is going badly and that the U.S. should reduce the level of U.S. forces in Iraq or withdraw all troops. Bush's approval rating, by the way, is down to 25%. 25%.
Yeah.
55% say they trusted Democratic lawmakers on Iraq, compared to 32% said they trust Bush. Asked if the president was willing enough to change policies on Iraq, nearly 8 in 10, 80% said no. No. A majority of those polled said he was too inflexible on Iraq, including 55% of his own Republican Party. His approval rating is down to 25%. That means three-quarters, 75% of the public says, oy vey, this is a president. You know what that means? That means he's a president like I'm a president. Echmer a president. That's what the Chinese say.
Roger's got.
Got a little surprise for you, son.
No, Dad! Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Just when you think you know what's right and what's wrong, think again. On July 4th, Creamworks Pictures presents the summer blockbuster.
What you're about to see is totally classified.
Dear God, what is it?
It's Transgenders.
Don't use that tone to me. That sarcastic, contemptuous tone that means you know everything because you're a man and I know nothing because I'm a woman.
Some come here to destroy us. Most come here to give us fashion advice.
I take great pleasure in reaching out and touching as many straight men as I possibly can.
Transgenders, co-starring Carson Kressley.
I thought, how can I reach out and touch as many guys as possible without going to jail?
And Nathan Lane.
I was adorable once. Now, look at me. I'm this short, fat, insecure, middle-aged thing.
Transgenders. This film has been rated S for scrumptious.
You call that a penis?
It's 11:17 at 560 WQAM. Guess who's going to be on CNN this hour to discuss the referee betting fixing NBA scandal? Guess who's going to be on?
I don't know, Hank.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Aren't you excited about that? Even you know who that is because you saw Airplane.
That's right.
Kareem Abdul, he was great. Everybody was great in that, but especially
a Bruce Lee movie too. So
was he really?
I think he was. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe so.
990 votes on the poll. Tim Donaghy accused of betting on games that he officiated, and we know that just because he had a huge bet and his mortgage was hanging in the balance in his entire life, he probably wouldn't make like, oh, that's a foul, even though it was a phantom call, you know. He's accused of betting on games that he officiated. Boy, they're going to hang his ass, maybe like Tom Dooley. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. And guess what? Out of 992 votes, this segment we're going to go over 1,000, Chris.
All right.
So what's the food today? Howie's again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's I mean, not that we don't appreciate Howie's very much, but it's getting a little one-dimensional, except on Thursdays when you guys get the good stuff from, you know.
We mix it up. We got other stuff on other days, too. So.
Like, what's her name would say the good stuff? What's her name?
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver. Boy, how could I forget that? That's not a good sign. That's the first sign of old-timers. And I'll tell you the other sign of old-timers is when you look like you do in that picture. If I was you, I wouldn't have put that picture on there. People are going to think you're old.
I am.
And then they'll buy into this crap about, oh, see, that's QAM. I almost said IOD. That's QAM, the old people station. As opposed to across the street where they're also young. Anyway, this week we got Joseph's. Joseph's on the water in Hallandale Beach. Don't let me forget to give everybody the directions on Thursday when we talk about that, because you can't see it like from the street. It's one of those hard-to-find places. But obviously it must really be great, because if they're still around and you can't see it from the street, people are, go out of their way to find it.
Remember, it was like Burton Jacks was a great thing until the terrorism shut them down.
Right, that's right. And people go out of their way. I know I go out of my way to find it.
Right.
Oh, there's the debate. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. Oh, and you want to know one of the main reasons I didn't watch it, besides the fact that I already made up my mind and I don't want to see Swillery, is Anderson Pooper was on there. I don't want to see Anderson's Pooper or any other part of him. Another part of Americana gone sour, baby, gone really bad. Mediocrity, it's the name of the game, man. How mediocre can you be? Anderson's Pooper. Oh, there's those poor bastards in Britain, man, walking around like silly people in their shorts. I wonder if the Queen is, I wonder if she's knee-deep in water, you think?
No.
I have my doubts, yeah.
It'd be nice if she was like, head deep in water.
Wouldn't that be great if they had a big flood at Buckingham Palace?
That would be.
997 votes. When I click that baby again, we're going to have at least 1,000, Chris, and then they will fear us. Did I mention that The Godfather's on 8 million times?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's the reason for that? Well, the reason for it is because it's so great that it lasts forever.
Sure.
They can do that like once a month, and people would still watch.
I would.
I know I did. I watched the whole first one again, and the second one again. But you know something? And I know you'll probably disagree, and a lot of other people will disagree. The second one doesn't even come close to the first. There are some people who say Godfather 2 is better than The Godfather. To which you know what I would say? I would look them straight in the eye and say, you're full of crap. That's right.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yes, I do.
I mean, how do they come up with this kind of schweinerei?
Pull it out of their ace.
Is that what it is? I do like the part where what's his name is changing the light bulb. Don
Fanucci.
What's his name? Don Fanucci. They're very good. The Black Hand, which ties right into our poll today. Most of the people in these shows had at least a black hand. 900. And maybe they had 2 black hands. 999. The next vote's going to be 1,000, baby. Oh! All right. Maybe you folks out there, one of you will be the one to cast it. And if George had the money, he'd send you a check for $1 million. In fact, he still might send you. It won't be any good, but you could frame it.
I'll send it in Monopoly money.
1,000.
We got 1,000. Very good. Boy, all of a sudden it came out of nowhere. From his sleepy coma, from eating all that Howie's this morning. Anyway, I started to say before I interrupted myself, we got food coming from Joseph's on Thursday. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, we do. I hope so.
Well, good. Sounds like a really good place.
Yes, it does.
What was your favorite black TV series from the past? Maybe we ought to have a show about controversial callers from the past. It just dawned on me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Here's Oakland Park. Hello.
Yes, is this Mr. Rogers?
There he is. It just dawned on me how one of the many reasons why life is so good lately, and that is I'm not hearing from those people, that crowd. Them people. Sanford and Son, 335, more than double the Jefferson's 157. Not even close. They love Sanford and Son because it's for, George said, a show for dummies. You know what you said?
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said lowbrow. Lowbrow.
It was lowbrow.
As opposed to...
it was funny.
Highbrow. Well, lowbrow can be funny, but that show just was an exception. But they liked it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were asking today.
You like it?
And they said, yeah, we liked it a lot. A lot more than that stupid-ass Jefferson. I think they're just doing that to piss me off. Because they know how much I love the Jeffersons. It was a great show. Not a good show, a great show. Oh, there's that guy with a gambling problem, Bill Bennett, on CNN. Yeah, he's a good one to have on there. Phony baloney. Hey, Bill, who you betting on for the debate? The Jeffersons 157, a weak second place, and then it's way on down to Amos and Andy 89. That's a joke. You people would know Amos from Andy. And you know famous Amos. Remember him? He got them good cookies.
Yes, he does.
Oh boy, you can't eat only a dozen of those. That's another reason I keep telling you people, don't get really super fat and don't become diabetic, because then you can't eat all that good stuff. And of course, if you're not diabetic and do eat all the good stuff, you'll become diabetic anyway. So don't eat it. Although, a bag of famous Amos chocolate chip cookies, man, sounds very... Look at John Edwards there with that staring at the American flag. Like, what's that? He is such a drooling yahoo, you know. Is that okay if I say that? He's a drooling yahoo. I don't like him. Didn't he do a lot of good for John Kerry on the ticket? Not. Didn't he help him win the Carolinas?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing could be finer? Not. No.
I wouldn't blame him,
weak.
though.
You what?
I said I don't blame him, though.
You blame John
Kerry? That whole fiasco, yeah.
Maybe he likes them waffles. Maybe he likes them with poisonberry sauce on them. I don't know. Too bad we still don't have the International House of Flakes. Are they still trying to make a comeback for the 800th time or what?
I don't know.
Because that was the one good thing about that place. The food sucked, but boy, I'll tell you, they sure had a lot of different flavors of syrup. All those different little decanters of syrup. Isn't that what you call them?
You can call them that. That's accurate.
What would you call them?
Pitcher.
All them little pitchers. I'd rather have the real thing than just a pitcher of syrup. Oh, there's Swillery. I know a lot of you folks out there think she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Based on what? Based on the fact we liked her husband a lot?
Now.
I opposed this war from the start because I anticipated that
there's your next president, I hope.
Be creating the kind of sectarian violence that we've seen and that it would distract us from the war on terror.
See, they're going to... Oh, there's little Dennis Kucinich.
The Democrats have failed the American people.
That's right, Dennis. Stick it to him, baby. Now, see, they chopped him off right there in mid-sentence. Oh, how sad. Amos and Andy 89, The Cosby Show 72, and Living Color 67. That was a good move by you adding that on there, because I had forgotten all about it. And what color was that in Living Color? Black. Black? Well, you don't have to whisper it. You can say black. Just don't say coon, because if you say coon, Bo Camp will rip you an ass tomorrow. Good Time 63, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air 43, The Wayans Brothers 26, Different Strokes 23, Fat Albert 19. What's Happening 17, Roots 17. The Bernie Mac Show 15, never saw it. I saw Freddie Mac. Martin 11, Family Matters 11, Living Single 8, A Different World. Am I reading these too often, I think? Yeah. But it kills some really good time. Different World 6, 227 has 5. The Sinbad Show 5, Rock 5. Is that as in Rock Hudson? Hang with Mr. Cooper 3, sent me straight to the pooper. Amen 2, What's Happening Now 1, The Steve Harvey Show 1, The Parkers 1, The Parenthood 1. Malcolm and Eddie finally got a vote. The Jamie Foxx Show 1, In the House 1, and poor Moesha out of 1,015 votes, and poor Moesha can't get none. That's really embarrassing. She's the only one left, Moesha, and probably because this audience don't like that name. Hey, Moesha. That's a bad name. Would you agree with me on that?
It's the worst name.
Is it the worst name?
Well, the actress's real name is Brandy. What's wrong with that for a name for a show?
I like Brandy. I like Brandy just fine. Brandy was a fine girl.
No. Let's ghetto it up a little bit. And make sure we alienate all the white audience that might be thinking about watching this show.
Let's make sure we create a really ugly, nasty stereotype that white people will run away from and they won't watch, even for money.
Morning, Americans. It's Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
John comes home from work feeling bad about the day's activities. He lays down on the couch and ponders his actions. I'll say it again. He lays down on the couch and ponders his actions. Like most of us, his conscience has two voices, that of his good, moral side and that of his mischievous side. While staring at the ceiling, a voice in John's head says, "Hey, don't worry about it. A lot of doctors have sex with their patients." He tosses and turns in reflection of his actions. Again, the voice says, "Don't worry about it. A lot of doctors have sex with their patients." Feeling somewhat relieved, John begins to relax and feel better about himself, at which time another voice in his head says, "You're a veterinarian, Paul Harvey."
Oi! Good day. 11:32 at 560 WQM. That's kind of cute. Not hysterical, not fall down on the floor, but then again. The only bit we got left that we can that fall down on the floor is, and I'm sure not playing that. Oh, no way. Not after getting a chewing out from you guys. Oh, he's playing it too much. And even Brandon wrote, "Oh, I'm getting really tired of that." Even my close personal buddies on my Space in Your Face. Don't want to hear that no mo. Would somebody please vote for Moesha? I feel bad. I mean, I have no idea what that show is or anything about it now. Evidently, you've seen it, huh?
No, I know of it. They show promos for all the shows.
What do you know of it?
You know when you watch TV, they show promos?
That's like The Sun. Have you ever seen The Sun?
Right.
No, I know of it, though. I've never seen it.
Have you ever seen a show promo? They promote shows.
Did you hear what he said, Chris? Have you ever seen a show homo?
Have you ever seen a homo show?
Comma? Yeah.
They have promos for all these shows, and then you see the promo and you realize, hey, look, that's not for me. And then you know of the show, but you've never seen the show, you see. That's how it
works.
Right.
Well, why not give Moesha a chance? So it's too late. She's long gone anyway.
Obviously, they're inviting me away.
Not to watch, yeah.
Right. So,
maybe they're trying to
get the message.
Maybe they don't really like the show, but, you know, they don't want to be accused of some kind of racist feelings or something. Well, she ain't got no votes. We got 1030 on there, 103, like WBZ in Boston. I bet you never heard WBZ, did you?
No.
Oh, I don't think I can continue. What about you, Chris? Do you ever hear WBZ in Boston?
Huh?
A black longshoreman, a gay activist, and a rabbi may walk into a bar together in Fort Lauderdale tonight, says the Herald. This isn't the opening of a bad joke, but an effort to celebrate the city's diversity and to broaden criticism of Fort Lauderdale Mayor Jim Naugle. Don't call me a Nazi, Naugle, even though I am. Though the outspoken Democratic mayor has offended gays, minorities, and the poor and environmentalists for years, his latest comments about the gay community have sparked much larger public outcry and an infusion of cash. Those comments include a suggestion that buying a $250,000 single-occupancy toilet for the beach will cut down on gay sex in larger public bathrooms. He also voted against moving the Stonewall Library, a nationally recognized collection of gay and lesbian literature, into a city building. Gay activists have organized a rally outside Fort Lauderdale City Hall, the second in 8 days that includes a variety of local and national speakers. Our community is coming together to speak out against bigotry in all of its forms, said organizer Wayman Hudson. Wayman. W-A-Y-M-O-N. Waymon.
Everybody loves Wayman.
That's a bad show. That is such a bad show. Oh, God, is that a bad show. I know. The campaign organized by gay activists is dubbed Unite Fort Lauderdale and has drawn national attention, but more than 200 local residents and businesses have raised about $10,000 to pay for the rally, including full-page newspaper ads, an airplane banner, and lots of buttons and T-shirts, Hudson said. Speeches will start at 4:30. That's this afternoon, I guess, yes. And participants will gather at 6:30 tonight at the Art Bar, 300 Northwest 1st Avenue, 3 blocks from City Hall at 100 North Andrews Avenue. Speakers include Matt Foreman, Executive Director of the National Gay... Well, we don't care who the speakers are. I mean, give a bunch of names. I want to stand in solidarity with the people who feel they've been mistreated by Mayor Naugle, said Mike D. Payne, one of the scheduled speakers. He's an NAACP official and Vice President of a Fort Lauderdale local chapter of the International Longshoremen's Association. You go, Mike. Jim Naugle, my ass, bigoted lunatic, okay? Mayor of Fort Lauderdale. He's kind of a throwback back to the day, you know, when they didn't want any Jews in Fort Lauderdale.
You can throw him back
blacks and certainly no fags. I beg your pardon?
You can throw him back to the day.
Yeah, throw him back to the day. Throw him back to the Stone Age where he belongs. And that's the reason they put him on the morning show. They're on our Kenny and Bull morning show, which is soon going off the air, but not soon enough, because he's a homophobic wild man. So we could make a... And, of course, you heard Bo Camper. Well, you know, gee, it's really a shame when you take your kids or your nephew into a public restroom and there's two guys doing the stuff in there. Never seen it, baby. Never seen it in a public restroom. George never seen it. Chris never seen it. Josh Cordes never seen it. And probably Bo Camper never seen it either. He probably saw it in the locker room during his football days, you know? That's probably when he see it. Guys grabbing onto each other's handle. Can I handle that for you, you know? Like that. That's probably when he's seen it. Guys dropping the soap real bad in the shower. Over. That's before the days of body wash, by the way. I just thought I would mention that. And one reason that a lot of you guys continue very stubbornly to hang on to that soap, so to speak, there's a little play on words for you, is because of the fact that it's not so easy to drop the body wash. I mean, you know, the bottle, I guess, can get slippery if you're real clumsy. But even a lummox like me, I have never dropped the body wash. How do you like that?
No, me either.
Then somebody voted for Moesha. Thank you so much. Everybody's got to vote. See, I like to make it fair, you know. And there's that Tony Harris again on CNN. I'm gonna. Oh, and there's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who don't look a day over 100. Look at that. He looks bad.
I think
he's got a mustache.
Exactly the same.
Understand
what?
Exactly how he looked in Airplane. He doesn't look a day older.
I mean, Mr. Donahue hasn't said anything, and we're still very much in the dark. I know I am.
Yeah.
So,
see, he's saying something about being in the dark. You notice that little play on words there? That's a racial thing.
And
that was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said it, by the way. We're both still dark, is what he said to Tony Harris. And neither one of them is very dark. Although I'll tell you one thing, I'd rather have, even though he don't speak very well, I'd rather have Kareem on there all the time than have Tony Harris. Oh, look at him. Look at him emoting.
Donnie, he hasn't turned himself.
Oh, God, he needs to be bitch slapped is what he needs right now. Go up there to Atlanta and slap him around, George.
No.
Why not? 10:37 on the poll. Now, Eric, are you paying any attention? I'm sure you're not, because you don't care about the poll anyway like I do. I really care about it. It's close to my heart. Maybe that's why I got such bad heartburn. But are you paying attention to this required votes per minute to get to a goal thing?
No.
Well, why not? Well, that's because your goal is to get to like 300.
Yeah, my goal is to get to 2 o'clock.
He's just like Neil. All he cares about is when does he get off the air and when does his vacation
when do I get
start
off? That's right.
And when is payday.
Payday's tomorrow, by the way. I just thought I'd mention that in case anybody in the county is listening. That check damn well better be there today because it's supposed to be there a day early. Otherwise, fat-ass Jolly Joe ain't got no story. That's his story where I'm concerned, is he gets me paid a day early. That's his claim to fame. And then again, sometimes, you know, once in a while, a day late just to even it out. You know, they don't want to overdo it. They don't want to make it seem like they actually like me or anybody connected with this show, which is why they're paying you what they're paying and why Chris is like on food stamps. You know something? It might not be a bad idea if you had to go on food stamps. You might lose some weight, you know?
Okay.
We need a half a vote a minute to get to 1,100. Half a vote a minute. How do you get a half a vote? We need 1.2 a minute to get to 1,200. See, I don't really care about setting that goal thing. The goal we have this week for MySpace is to get to 1,500 friends. And we have 1,497. Do you think we can do that? Maybe I'll let you handle that tomorrow, because I noticed there were all kinds of new friend requests with you on there yesterday, and probably because they looked at those pictures of you and what's-her-name, Svetlana there, the Russian Marvel with the big boobs.
Yeah.
You think that might have something to do with it? They had a whole bunch of new... And by the way, Al Rogers, we don't want you as one of them, okay? Go away and do it soon.
Carter's looking for a miracle. The former president is trying to push puss in Bosnia.
I'm still just Sanjay from Seattle, but I'm not really, and it's weird, I don't know. I miss just being able to go out on the street and just be myself.
I miss Sanjaya, man, I thought that guy was pretty. I don't miss Reuben or Clay for them. I'm only filled with pity, yes I am. You fairy. Sanjaya's hair was bigger than Hoover Dam. I'm his biggest fan. I miss Sanjaya, though it doesn't make much sense. Although you went so far on Idol, tell me, can you pay the rent? Your mom is high. I'll take a burger and some fries. Sanjaya, why? Oh, you used to sing off key. Go to school, get a degree. Your sister's private parts we all did see.
Wrecked 'em.
You won't record, you'll only buy CDs. You'll only buy CDs.
We saw his sister's private parts.
I don't recall doing that.
I didn't see him. Did you see him, Chris?
No.
Well, what does that mean? What is that all about? Anyway, Tracy and Kendall, we haven't seen her private parts, although George evidently wants to because she said, send me your email, Tracy, but there's a reason why. I read this thing. Will you just relax? God, you are so
uptight. Send a picture with her email, and I'll tell you if I do want to see her private parts.
She says the woman that sang the song, the Jeffersons. That's not the song. The song's called Moving On Up. As in theme from the Jeffersons. But anyway, it was Janet Dubois. See, you said it was Roxy Bernstein.
Whatever.
What?
I don't know.
She was the neighbor, Wilma Woods on Good Times. Oh. I see. Well, I never watched Good Times. Roxy Bernstein married her Jewish lawyer, and they had a son, Lenny Kravitz. That's why I was trying to think of Foxy Roxy. Lenny Kravitz is her son. Well, I wouldn't brag about that. And it says, George, please tell me how to download or buy the rockabye music you played yesterday. Rockabye music?
Yeah, it's called Rockabye Baby. It's on Amazon.
Was that by Jerry Lewis? Rockabye your baby with a Dixie melody. Was that it?
Rockabye Baby, ! If you put that into the Amazon search engine or search Amazon for it or any other music outlet, you'll get it by artist. There's one for each artist, an album for each artist.
Tracy, the massage therapist, wants to use it during her massage sessions, that music, rockabye. Now, you played that yesterday?
I mean, snippets of it, like this here. You know, I'm playing the stuff that you would recognize because all of the other bands are good and you don't like them. Right. It's baby music for babies.
It's Beatle baby music, or baby Beatle music. Ever step on a baby Beatle?
Popular tunes done to lullaby music.
Oh my God. It's time to put the audience into a coma.
Well, I wasn't playing these songs.
Oh, you can let them go, though. I like that. Because it might, liven it up a little bit while I'm reading these very important bedtime stories.
Well, if they are bedtime stories, this is bedtime music.
That's right. Put everybody to sleep. Put them into a coma. As opposed to, startling them out of their slumber. It's Dog Days of July, baby. Nobody wants to be startled by some squeaky, screechy sound coming out of their radio. That's right. Like that. Or like that. Or even worse. Now, what is that? Where did you tell me that came from? Because I'd like you to send it back. That is so. That even makes WLIF sound exciting. What?
I stole it.
You stole it?
Yeah.
Michael Martin went through a hassle trying to fly out of Fort Lauderdale recently because his name was on a no-fly list. Rather than protest to authorities, he nervously turned to his mom for comfort. He thought he did something wrong, his mother, Krista Martin, 36, of Coral Springs, said. You know how old he is? 107. And the picture of him here, he doesn't look like no terrorist to me. He looks like a 7-year-old kid. Michael Martin is only 7 years old, a typical youngster who enjoys skateboarding and playing drums. Because he shares a name with a known or suspected terrorist, he's run into roadblocks 3 times before boarding an airliner, Krista Martin said. And that's such an unusual name, you know, Michael Martin. Like Stephen Schwartz or something like that. Each time she was unable to quickly obtain a boarding pass for him online or via an airport kiosk, she had to march to a check-in counter to sort things out, which she said was mostly an inconvenience but also exasperating. At the time she makes reservations, she said she lets the airline know her son's age, but she still ends up being denied ease of booking and boarding. It's been happening since 9/11, she said. I just think it's kind of ridiculous to put a 7-year-old boy on a no-fly list. That's correct, Krista. And a person in your kid's position ain't in no position to be made to look ridiculous. I missed that part. I didn't see the part with the horse's head again. I'm not going to race him, though. I'm going to put him out to stud. Cartoon.
What do you think?
Cartoon. Well, you can. Haven't you heard of Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman?
Mm-hmm.
The no-fly list is compiled by the TSA, includes only people who are a known threat to aviation, said agency spokesman Christopher White. That means known or suspected terrorists, not unruly passengers. The list includes detailed information about each person on it, including law enforcement records. The idea is to avoid confusing a real terrorist with an innocent passenger. And, of course, we've seen so many real terrorists these days. Oh, there's one over there. I can tell he's got a schmata on his head. Just like my cab driver here. Still, Michael Martin, the child, most recently ran into problems on July 3rd when his mother booked a flight on AirTran Airways to Baltimore for vacation. Well, it'll teach them to go to Baltimore. After a kiosk refused to spit out a boarding pass, she asked an airline agent if there was a problem. She made a funny face and said, "Oh, he's on a no-fly list," Krista Martin said. They looked at him and immediately realized he's a 7-year-old little kid, a little punk. The young boy, who stands 3 feet 9 inches tall, almost as big as George, and weighs 55 pounds, was then issued a boarding pass. She said in the past she also said she had trouble booking on at least one other airline. Oh, you know what I forgot to play today? I hope you played it yesterday in honor of your friend.
The media is sick and needs help badly.
Because Tammy Faye croaked, and the poor guy, what's his name, was out there at the front desk. Poor Carlos is out there. Oh, jeez, Tammy Faye's dead. Hey, Carlos, you silly faggot, you. The TSA says the AirTran incident shouldn't have happened because airlines are responsible for automatically removing children from no-fly lists. Indeed, on its website, tsa.gov, the agency proclaims that placing children on such lists is a myth. It doesn't happen. Right. The airline has the ability to and should immediately deselect any child allegedly on a watch list, the TSA spokesman said. Judy Graham Weaver, AirTran spokeswoman, said the only way an airline can clear a child is by seeing the child first. She further contended that the TSA can only remove or add names. Only the TSA. If we were to clear the reservation prior to seeing the child, we'd have no way to prove we were clearing a child and not an actual no-fly passenger. A terrorist.
The media is sick and needs help
potential
badly.
evildoer. She's dead. She weighed, what'd she weigh, 4 ounces into her death there?
Yeah.
I heard that Larry King is going to have her propped up in the chair, the body, and just have her on every night. Because she went over so big on Larry King. Am I right?
Uh-huh.
There is an Irish terrorist named Michael Martin who was convicted in 1995 of taking part in an Arizona smuggling ring that attempted to ship bomb detonators to the IRA, according to the Memorial Institute for the Prevention of Terrorism, a nonprofit organization based in Oklahoma City. He was sentenced to 16 months in a slammer. Whether he's the same Michael Martin on the no-fly list, federal officials won't say. But he's obviously not the same one who's 7 years old and 3 foot 9 inches tall and weighs 55 pounds. In any case, the TSA has a traveler redress inquiry program accessible via its website, allowing a passenger whose name is on a no-fly list to fill out a form. After the agency confirms the person is not a security threat, he or she receives a cleared letter permitting them to travel without further question, White said. Krista Martin, who works for a bank, said she initially declined to use the redress program because it appeared to be aimed specifically for adults. Yesterday, she said now she plans to fill out the forms on behalf of her son. Just the same, she still fears the no-fly list problem will crop up again. Apparently, this will happen with every new airline I fly on. She said maybe TSA has to provide more information to the airlines. The no-fly list is maintained by the U.S. Terrorist Screening Center in Washington, D.C. The Terrorist Screening Center in Washington, D.C., an arm of the Department of Justice. The list was created in December 2003 as a means to consolidate all watch lists and allow law enforcement agencies to quickly determine if a person is a suspected terrorist, said Center spokesman Michelle Petrovich. How do you like that? So if you're 2 feet tall, if you're like 2 years old and you're 2 feet tall, you're a terrorist if you got the wrong name. And they're going to put you on the list and they're going to hassle and give you all kinds of grief and crap because we're really hard at work nailing those terrorists, making the world a safer place in which to live. Aren't we? Not.
Oh, yeah.
We got 1,091 votes. 1,064. Where did I get 91? Maybe if I put my glasses on I could read it. Oh, there it is, 1,064. But the good news is we only need 0.3 of a vote per minute the rest of the show to get to 1,100. Chris?
All right.
And we only need 1.1 a minute to get to 1,200 a day on the 24th of Del Julio. Wouldn't that be a feather in Chris's cap if he wore one? You don't wear a cap, do you?
I wear a hat.
A hat?
Yeah, a baseball hat.
That's a cap.
Well, then I guess I wear a cap.
Does he wear a cap or a hat, George?
It's a baseball cap.
I mean, don't you know the difference between a cap and a hat?
It's a chapeau.
Well, I mean, I don't know what they called them back in your time, so, I had to make sure.
Back in my time, they called them the same thing as they call them now, a cap.
Back in your time, they called them a haberdash.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man, what a putz. No wonder he's making 20 cents an hour.
Oh, I got a raise?
If you act real nice to Jolly Joe, maybe they'll give you
about 30, man.
But I doubt it. Now, once we got past that 1,000 real easy, I mean, it kind of takes the challenge out of it, right?
Right.
It's like once we get to about 145, it takes the challenge out of the whole deal.
This is Brady Quinn. Whenever whenever I shave my balls, I listen to the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
Oh! That girl.
Welcome back to the Kenbo No Homo Show. We have Jim Naugle joining us a little later on.
All right, man. Praise the Lord. He's a good and decent man.
How do you figure that?
Well, he's middle-aged and white, you know. That's all you gotta be.
He's the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, right?
Something like that. Naughty.
Yeah, he's cleaning up Fort Lauderdale so it'll be okay for Jesus to go there.
Sure. Homosexuality is a sin, man. Says it right there in God's playbook. And that's the situation.
Well, he's got to get rid of the homos to get more dates for sport hole lickers like us. That's why he calls us here at an all-gay sport hole station.
Look, every man has his needs. Just because it's only men on our mind don't make it some kind of queer or something. At least now and then we think of a female.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, if you need some immediate sexual satisfaction, man, you know, like right away you can tune into us.
Sounds like you did a lot of research on this topic.
Not really. I learned it by mimosa.
I mean, our entire morning show is based on the love of men.
A real man can show his love for men and maybe steal a kiss from a pretty girl.
Yeah, on a park bench or something.
That's right, man. Like, put your knees together real tight and lean over and, like, just steal a kiss from a pretty girl.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Women are just objects you occasionally pay attention to when you're horny.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the manly way. I mean, like, you know, dude, I'd put my wife outside the house when she has her monthly gusher, you know.
There's coffee.
What?
Didn't you make the coffee this morning?
Yeah, man. Special brew.
It tastes funny.
Should be tangy. I use an old jockstrap for a strainer.
You know, I don't think we have the themes from any of these other shows. We got, you know, the top two, thank God for that. And we got good times and bad times. We don't have the other ones.
Chaz?
Any of them. We probably got Amos and Andy somewhere. I dasn't play that. How about Song of the South? Should we play the soundtrack from that?
Just let's sing along.
What's wrong with that? Zippity-doo-dah, zippity. Yeah, well, nothing wrong with that. My, oh my, I'm feeling so gay. What's wrong with that thing? How are we doing on the poll there, Chris? No, forget about it.
Okay.
Al-Qaeda in Iraq's Emir in Baghdad.
Kashmir and Tukhus, how do you like that? Emir in Baghdad and Kashmir and Tukhus. Anti-war activist Cindy Sheehan announced in Washington yesterday afternoon that she would challenge Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi in the 2008 congressional election. You go, Cindy. Kick her ass. Wimpy Nancy Pelosi. Impeachment's off the table. Just take a look at these wimps. Harry Reid. Take a look at him. Nancy Pelosi.
Rather not.
The Democrats will not hold this administration accountable, so we have to hold them accountable. And I, for one, will step up to the plate and run against Nancy Pelosi. She's rolled a cheering crowd on Capitol Hill. You go, Cindy. Kick their ass. Sheehan brought a petition calling for the impeachment of President Bush and Vice President Cheney to the office of Representative John Conyers. Oh, and boy, if I got to... Wait a minute. I got a story that ties right in with us about what a piece of crap he is. Come to find out, office arrest, the shame of John Conyers. We'll get to that in a second.
All right.
Piece of turd. Not as big of a piece of turd as
they named Omar
that, but then again, who could be? Sheehan, according to Sheehan, Conyers said that there were not enough votes to impeach the president or vice president, so we didn't intend to hold hearings on the impeachment resolution introduced by little Dennis Kucinich of Ohio. Here's the article by Dave Lindorf on the Smirking Chimp. Office arrests the shame of John Conyers. Shame on you, John. If Rosa Parks had lived 2 years longer, what happened today in the halls of Congress might have killed her. It certainly would have broken her heart, meaning yesterday. Representative John Conyers, venerable member of Congress, finally chair of the House Judiciary Committee, a man who worked with Parks in Alabama and then hired her on his staff after he won election to Congress in Detroit, had 48 impeachment activists yesterday, including Gold Star Families for Peace founder Cindy Sheehan, Iraq veteran against the war activist Lennox Yearwood, and Intelligence Veterans for Sanity founder Ray McGovern, had them arrested for conducting a sit-in in his office in the Rayburn House Office building. Did you know that?
Nope.
Now you know it. The three, together with several hundred other impeachment activists who packed the fourth floor hallway outside Conyers' office, had come to press Conyers to take action on impeachment and specifically to start action on House Resolution 333, the bill submitted nearly 3 months ago by Dennis Kucinich, calling for the impeachment of Vice President Cheney. And you notice 333, that's halfway there. Halfway to...
world know they are
the Antichrist, baby. After nearly an hour of talking with Conyers, a clearly angry Sheehan emerged together with Earwood and McGovern, announced to the waiting throng in the hall that Conyers told them impeachment isn't going to happen because we don't have the votes. Sheehan said Conyers had insisted the best thing was for Democrats to focus on winning big in 2008. To a loud and angry chorus of boos and hisses, probably like Carlos is doing out there at the front desk because of Tammy Face. Of course, he does it all the time anyway. To a loud and angry chorus of boos and hisses, the three went back inside Conyers' office suite, where they were joined by some 30 other supporters, and all were subsequently arrested at Conyers' request by Capitol Police, who cuffed them and walked them off for booking. Several of those who sat in refused to walk and were carried or dragged out of the Rayburn office building as the activists in the hall chanted, "Shame on Conyers, and arrest Bush, not the people." It was a thoroughly disgraceful scene, wholly unworthy of a dean of the Congressional Black Caucus. Before returning to sit in the Judiciary Committee chairman's office and await arrest, Sheehan publicly announced her intention to run in 2008 against Nancy Pelosi. Earwood, who's chaplain in the Air Force, said that Conyers had been a mentor to him, but he declared that now he felt betrayed and Americans needed to take back their government. As he was led down the hall to his arraignment, they handcuffed Earwood pointedly, saying, "We shall overcome." How does that go? We shall, however that goes. I don't know how that goes.
I don't.
You?
I know.
Oh. Well, that's what he's saying. This reporter, Dave Lindorf, subsequently called Conyers' press office for an explanation of his true position on impeachment. Only a few days earlier, the congressman visiting a San Diego meeting on health care reform had told members of Progressive Democrats of America it was time to take these two guys, Bush and Cheney, out, and had promised that if just a few more members of the House signed the Kucinich bill, it already has 14 co-sponsors, he would move it forward for consideration in his Judiciary Committee. Asked how that statement squared with what he told a group of activists in his orifice, the spokesman said Conyers must have been misunderstood in San Diego. He said that in view of Conyers' statement to Sheehan and the others today, the Kucinich bill was not going to go anywhere. As impeachment activist David Swanson of AfterDowningStreet.org has said, there seems to be two John Conyers, one who in 2003 and early 2000, while Republicans controlled the House, was systematically making the case for impeaching the President and Vice President. He had even submitted the bill with 39 co-sponsors, which called for a creation of a select committee to investigate possible impeachable crimes by the administration, and one who, submitting to the wishes of the new House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, was keeping impeachment off the table. Occasionally, the former Conyers breaks out, saying things such as the president needs to be taken out, or as he put it at an anti-war rally last spring, we can fire him, but then the other Conyers comes to the fore and stands in the way of impeachment action.
Yet despite all the evidence...
This time, however, was worse than just doing nothing. The arrest of impeachment activists and their forcible eviction from his office was a betrayal of people who were doing the very kind of thing that allowed Conyers to make his way into Congress in the first place, sitting in to insist on action on their demands for justice. It was, after all, sit-ins that helped to lead to the Voting Rights Act, which allowed African-American candidates like Conyers to finally win seats in Congress. It's becoming increasingly clear that the Democratic Party, Congressional Black Caucus, and Progressive Caucus included, has become nothing but a dried-out husk, living on old glories and devoid of any principle other than returning its elected officials to their offices and their perks year after year. As one angry activist in the hallway remarked, "Where is today's Allard Lowenstein or Father Drinan? There is none." You know that Father Drinan used to be on my show all the time on the phone? Did you know that?
You mentioned that, yeah.
Yes. Father Robert Drinan, a great liberal priest. How do you like that? We can always use a good priest. It's ironic that Representative Conyers, speaking in 2005 on Democracy Now! Following Rosa Parks' death at the age of 92, said her passing is probably the end of an era. Certainly, with his request to have Capitol Police officers enter his office, the very office where Parks once worked as a staff member, to cuff and arrest peaceful protesters who were trying to defend the Constitution, he's made that point far more clearly than he could have expressed it in just mere words. But as in the case of Rosa Parks and the Civil Rights Movement, arrests and fines won't stop the national grassroots drive to impeach this president and vice president, with polls showing that a majority of the country now favors impeachment, and with Conyers, Pelosi, and the Democratic Congress sinking deeper and deeper into disfavor, even as the president continues to add to his list of constitutional crimes, something's got to give. After all, the founders, in writing impeachment into the Constitution, did not say the test was whether Congress had the votes to impeach. They wrote that if the president abused his power or committed other high crimes and misdemeanors, bribery or treason, Congress shall impeach. The American public has made it clear. We want impeachment, we want the troops home. If Congress doesn't act on these two key issues, they won't get that big win that Conyers called for in 2008. Some members of the Democratic caucus may not even be back if they keep this up. You go, Dave. You go, baby. How many votes we got, Chris?
Looking at, hold on.
1079. You see, you're not even paying any attention. That's what's called fat and sassy in the radio poll business. Fat and sassy. You got part of that licked, I'll tell you that. The fat part. 1079. See, it's kind of slowing down now. You want to know why?
Why?
I haven't got any idea. Well, once we made it to 1,000, it's like, oh, well, we don't need to vote now. And especially this poll isn't that good in the first place. Especially there's no contender. No contender, baby. Sanford and Sons got it licked. Hands down your pantaloonies. All the way to your kneecaps. 354 for Sanford and Son. And the Jeffersons,
Well, we're moving on now.
they ain't cutting it. They've got less than half. 166. Less than half. It's a blowout. And you know, it's nobody else is a contender when Amos and Andy is in third with 92 votes. But thank God that George remembered In Living Color. That's all the way up to fourth. That's going to be third.
It was good.
It's got 80. It was a good show, yeah.
Cutting edge. Funny.
Unlike Sanford and Son, which wasn't even funny once. You didn't have to say it once, much less 3 times. 1082 on our award-winning poll. We need 0.2 vote per minute to get to 1100.
Yank it, baby.
It's the sexiest Harry Potter movie ever.
Bloody brilliant.
It's When Harry Potter Met Sally.
I'm Harry Potter.
Once you've got hold of your broom, I want you to mount it.
If you two don't mind, I'm going to bed.
And grip it tight. You don't want to be sliding off the end.
Yes! Oh!
When Harry Potter Met Sally.
Oh, God. Oh, she needs to sort out her priorities.
Yeah, good. 12:16 at 560 WQM. The British are annoying. Say what you will, they are annoying. There may be a few of them who aren't quite so annoying, but nevertheless. I did meet one once. I told you that. In Amsterdam. Long time ago.
A non-annoying Brit.
Very unannoying. But anyway, Bonds, wait till you hear this. Well, you don't care about it. Too bad Josh Cordes isn't in there, because he'd be jumping up and down like Rumpelstiltskin, get all bent out of shape. Barry Bonds' former mistress at the center of the government's perjury investigation of the Slugger said yesterday she will discuss the couple's relationship in the November issue of Playboy magazine. The Playboy article, accompanied by a nude pictorial of Kimberly Bell, is scheduled to hit newsstands October 1st. The 37-year-old Bell said the article will cover details of her relationship with Bonds that she told a grand jury investigating the perjury allegations in 2005. The opportunity was there and I took it, she told the AP in a phone interview yesterday. The photo shoot was one of the most liberating experiences of my life, she said. Naked as a jaybird. Now, can you tell me what the hell that means, naked as a jaybird? In fact, can you tell me what a jaybird is?
Naked?
No, but what is it?
I don't know, bird.
But you heard that.
Sure.
Like a blue jay.
Why don't they say naked as a blue jay?
Bell's decision to pose for Playboy was first reported by the New York Times on its website last night. She testified before the grand jury that Bonds once told her of his steroid use in 2000 and that he implied he started taking the performance-enhancing drugs in response to Mark McGwire's pursuit of the single-season home run record in 1998. He was very envious of Mark McGwire, she said from her San Jose home. He never said that was the reason, but I know it was. She knows. The shadow knows. Bell testified about that conversation as well as her relationship with Bonds, which lasted from 1993 to 2003. She also said Bonds gave her $80,000 in cash to buy a house, the proceeds of which allegedly came from a paid autograph session that authorities also investigating as going unreported to the IRS. Oh. Bonds' lawyer, Michael Raines, couldn't be reached for comment late yesterday. The term of the grand jury investigating Bonds' steroid testimony appears to have been extended because the Giants left fielder's personal trainer remains jailed. Greg Anderson was to be released last Thursday, the end of the grand jury's term, unless the term was extended. The U.S. Attorney's Office has declined to discuss
the message from George W. Bush, the U.S. president there, in an impassioned plea at Charleston.
Right. The U.S. Attorney's Office has declined to discuss the grand jury proceedings, but one of Anderson's lawyers, Paula Canny, believes the term was extended. Greg's still not out, she said. Bell said she hasn't been called before the grand jury again, but declined to say if she's spoken with federal investigators since. Bell's appearance in the magazine can't help the government's case against her former lover. Defense lawyers are widely expected to argue that Bell was a woman scorned because of Bond's decision to marry another woman during their relationship. Her appearance on Playboy may only add fuel to the defense's case. Bell said the photo shoot boosted her confidence. She declined to say how much Playboy was paying her. If I had more self-esteem when I was younger, she said. If I did, I wouldn't have been caught up with such a rotten man. How do you like that, Josh Cordes? A rotten man, meaning Barry freaking phony steroid bonds. Piece of turd. Well, I just say that because he gets so... I think he's got a thing for Barry, you know? And in fact, I'm sure his Russian girlfriend told you about that.
His thing for Barry?
Yeah, about his Barry Bonds blow-up doll?
No, we didn't talk about Josh's affinities, no.
Didn't get into that too deeply. 1,098 votes. If I click that baby again, we're going to have 1,100. And then, look at this, we need 1/10 of a vote per minute to get to 1,100, according to the extrapolations by, what's his name up there? Eric? I know his name. Will you relax? Jesus, you are a piece of work, man, or a piece of something.
Thank you.
And speaking of a piece of something, Barry Jackass. Hey, Barry.
You fairy.
South Florida Sports Fantastic Four. This thing just makes me want to scream. But it's so typical, man, of why South Florida is the horseball place that it is, always has been and always will be. Although right now I would say it's more so than ever before. Once upon a time, there was like, there was like some signs of life. You know what I mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
Like in Fort Lauderdale when we had spring break, and and now, of course, the only sign of life is South Beach, which is a bunch of plastic, over-jewelry-wearing queens running around, prancing around, speaking some other language besides English, which I don't want to say which one, you know? For all his brilliance, Barry Jackass writes, Dwayne Wade couldn't crack the list. Aw. And how about, what is he, chopped liver? Where the hell is he on this list?
He's like 8th or 9th.
2, 4, 6, 7. He's right on Chrissy Everett's ass. Boy, what a heavy load. Nor could any of the men who transformed the University of Miami football program from moribund to marvelous. Oh, yeah. Nor could any of the stars on the Marlins 2 World Series championship teams. What about, what's his name? Isn't on here? The pitcher, Levon. Even Elton John did a song about Levon. Is he on here?
Yeah.
Isn't that who he was singing about? Emerson Fittipaldi's got 44 vote. Where the hell is Levon? I don't see him. Scott Mellenby's got 18. Gino Torretta's, she's got 16. Oh, Levon's got 20. He's just above Ray Floyd, Jim Langer, and Scott Mellenby. When we ask fans to choose, the readers have spoken, and their choice for the Fantastic Four of South Florida sports reflects a deep appreciation for Dolphins history and the money man who helped make our market Major League, says Barry. Major League, my fat old ass, Barry. Major League. Oh, my God. When we asked fans to choose the people who mattered most in the history of South Florida sports, 2 seemed like 2 brainers. Don Shula and Dan Marino. Predictably, they finished 1-2 in the unscientific online balloting. Shula had 2,757. Danny Boy had 2,628. After that, no contest. Joe Robbie, third, 1082. And Wayne Heisinger, 884, of which we no longer speak any ill because they get really upset. Joining Shula, I beg your pardon?
1,100.
You heard me. Some of the notable results. The Heat had 4 representatives in the top 10. That's because most people are bandwagon jumpers, you know. All of a sudden now they won a championship, and everybody's a big Heat fan. Wade 5th, Shaquille was 7th, Pat Riley 8th, and Alonzo was 10th. Alonzo Mourning with the bad kidney? Are you kidding me or what? Is that a joke, Chris, or what?
No, that's true. So the Saturday that this went up, they talked about Pat Riley in the article talking about it. They talked about Pat Riley and said go online and vote, except Pat Riley wasn't one of the selectable choices.
Yeah.
So it was just, more of the Herald's great, computer work is what they blamed.
Well, then how did he get number?
Because they went amended it, and then they even added other people. I guess that people wrote in and said.
Like we had Living Color to the poll today because
exactly.
Because what's his name forgot about it.
But yeah, I was working that Sunday with Evan Cohen, and we noticed it. So we were talking about it on the air for about 2 hours, and then suddenly, miraculously, they updated the poll, and he was on there.
Hey, you people at the Herald suck is what Chris is trying to say in a very nice way. He doesn't want to come right out and say that. You people at the Herald suck, especially you, Barry. You little silly person, you silly goose.
You fairy.
With your little brown paper bag.
He called in, too.
Who called in?
Barry Jackson. Didn't come on the air, but he said that it was a computer glitch. That's why he wasn't on there.
Computer glitch rhymes with bitch and snitch and twitch, Barry.
Hey, Neil, I'm Barry Jackass, and a lot of what you say about me is
true. That was... That was a moment to remember. I said, hey, you want to see what a real sports section looks like? Here's the Toronto Sun, Barry. Go in the corner and read it. And quit and take your finger out of your ass. So here are the results. You want to hear the results, George?
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to give the number of votes.
Okay.
Well, I guess I could. Then we'd be like 2:30. We'd be overtime.
Ooh, sweet.
11:02 on the poll now, Chris. What do we need for 1,200? According to the extrapolations up there. We need 1.1 votes a minute to get to... Oh, we can do that to get to 12. And then after that, that's it. Don't push it too hard, especially on the 24th day Julio. Complete voting results. And again, these are just... Can you imagine how many times some of the people out there must have voted? Hundreds.
About 30, man.
3,000. Don Shula, Dan Marino, 1-2, way ahead of everybody else. They were about 130 votes apart, with Shula getting the edge. Joe Robbie third, Wayne Heisinger fourth, then Dwayne Wade, Chrissy Everett, Shaq O'Neal, Shaquille, Pat Riley, Howard Smellyberger with that stupid pipe he smokes and a really crappy attitude, Alonzo Mourning, Nick Bonaconti, Bob Greasy, oh, what a boring guy he is, Larry Zonka, Venus and Serena Williams as a team. I mean, why are they teamed up? Are they joined at the hip? Are they what do they call people that are joined at the hip?
Siamese twins.
Siamese twins.
Sorry, conjoined twins. Sorry.
They don't look. Oh, that's right. The Burmese get upset when you say that, don't they?
The Siamese do.
The Burmese. Larry Zonka, Venus and Serena Williams are joined at the hip. Jimmy Johnson is right under Venus and Serena, enjoying every minute of it. Edwin Pope, Eddie the Pope. Now that in itself is so pathetic. Eddie the Pope, who is one of the worst shills I have ever, not that I read his column, I haven't in years. Zach Thomas, Ron Fraser, UM baseball guru, Jason Taylor, Jennifer Rodriguez. I wonder if any kin to George.
I'll check. I'll check the tree.
Who's Jennifer Rodriguez?
I don't know.
Speed skater.
What?
A speed skater.
And she came in ahead of some of these, ahead of Michael Irvin and Pudge and Alex Rodriguez and Don Trell learning to spell. Jennifer Rodriguez? Get out of here. Come on. If you walked out right now, out of the corner of Ives Dairy Road and 441, and you asked any 10 homeless people, who the hell is Jennifer Rodriguez? How many do you think would know who that is?
One.
None. I'm smelling you right now. None. Mark it down. N-U-N. Penguin. None. Jennifer Rodriguez. Even I never heard of her. Did you hear of her, George?
No.
You're asking George?
Hey, George, if she was hot, George would know who she was.
Is she hot?
Not really.
Then I don't know.
See, that's why. 27 past noon at QM.
Do you have a heart or a liver?
Ticket 790 Radio presents The Geldy Show.
Yeah, it's me, Geldy, right here in your face on the ticket. I'm the Iron Show. I'm the Iron Show. Da-da-da-da-da-da. You better be careful, Neil. Management here is confident I'll smear the queer. The guy I sold my soul to assures me it ain't my last chance to be heard before I fade into oblivion. So there! Well. Here at 790, we want to appeal to a younger audience of sport holes. So, hi, boys and girls. Well, okay, hi, boys. Today, Uncle Geldy is going to teach us how to read the sports page. Okay, let's see, we got here? We got, Dolphin training camp. And over here we got, there's a jock who's schwitzing over here. You should look over here. You can get all the statistics. There. Oh, look, we got a phone call. Hiya, Mo.
I'm here to collect.
Huh?
It's time to pay up, you numbskull.
You can't have my soul yet. I haven't even got
I've heard enough, see? You stink, pal. That's it. I'm taking your soul.
You gotta give me a chance. I mean, I want the voice of the pig. I'm drowning in the sea of
Which reminds me, what the hell does Jim Naugle, the right-wing mayor of Fort Lauderdale, what does he have to do with sports? That they've invited him on the morning show to spew his homophobic crap about guys doing each other in tea rooms? What was that all about? Pretty obvious. I'll get back to that list. I'll read all the 600 names on there in a minute. An Orleans Parish grand jury in New Orleans has declined to indict a doctor accused of killing patients in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. Last year, State Attorney General Charles Foley claimed Dr. Anna Poe, P-O-U, sounds Hawaiian to me, doesn't it? Poe?
Sure does.
Pew, and 2 nurses killed 4 people with a lethal cocktail at Memorial Medical Center. The 4 were among at least 34 who died in the sweltering flooded hospital days following Katrina. CNN's website, by the way, had a big red banner up there with the wrong information. They took it down real fast. Oh, no, on their website. Jordan's office declined to prosecute nurses Lori Budo and Sherry Landry after they testified in the investigation. Powell, who's been free on bond, was never formally charged. Supporters rallied for Powell late last week, and the doctor filed suit against the Louisiana Attorney General on Monday. In it, she accuses him of using her arrest to fuel his re-election bid. How do you like that? Cane Hill. Okay, let's get back to the list of the movers and shakers, the shakers and bakers in South Florida sports, according to Barry Jackass, and you idiots that voted online on the Herald thing. Butch, after Jennifer Rodriguez, who was just under Jason Taylor. Butch Buchholz, was he a tennis player?
He was in charge of the lifting tournament, I believe is what it was.
He was a tennis player.
Okay, I didn't know him for playing tennis, so.
Jesse Holt, what is the Lipton tournament? It's a tennis tournament, isn't it,
yes.
Dumbo?
But I know if he actually played tennis or he was just a director.
Jesse Holt. Anybody know who Jesse Holt is?
No.
Was? Wanted to be?
I know you're not talking to me, so I'm just, I'll just be...
Oh, you know Pudge, Yvonne Rodriguez.
I do.
Pudge had 151, and Alex Rodriguez, Payrod, had 132. So Pudge beat him out good because he looks better. What do I care? Although he had a pretty crappy attitude. Remember when the Marlins got rid of his ass because he wanted all that money? And they said, go to Detroit. Jeff Conine, 122. Michael Irvin, 109. I'm not reading the numbers. Roberta Stokes. Anybody know who Roberta Stokes is? No. You know?
No.
No?
That's what I'm saying. Bernie Kosar. Oh, my God. Hey, Bernie.
You fairy.
Ken Dorsey. Angelo Dundee. Nick Kodai, who did we say he was? He was a Coral Gables high school coach?
Correct.
Kodai's Nick, somebody named Nick. Tim Hardaway, Don Trell, Eddie Arcaro, the 400-year-old jockey. Walt Frazier, Mike Lowell, Andre Dawson, the Hawk, Rick Berry, Larry Little, Jim Leland, Miguel Cabrera, Emerson Fittipaldi, Paul Warfield. Then there's another one I heard, it's chopped off. Oh, Ted Hendricks. You can barely read it. And then the geezer, the top hockey getter, John Van Beesbrook with 42 votes. The geezer, who's most famous now for being racist. Josh Beckett, Jose Canseco. Sonny Hirsch is tied with Jose Canseco. How do you like that? And Sonny never even used roids. He said he once had bad roids from sitting on his ass all the time. Remember Sonny Hirsch?
Yeah.
Well, why are you so reluctant to say that?
I thought it was a trick question, do I remember?
No, it's not a trick question at all. Sonny had a little thing. Vinny Testaverde, Derek Thomas, Don Carter, the bowling guy. Wow. Dwight Stevenson, Dave Dombrowski, Warren Sapp, Dennis Erickson, Steve Carlton, Charlie Huff, Benny Blades. Benny Blades? Oh, no. How about Brian Blades? How about the other night? Anyway, we don't want to rehash that. It's bad news. It's bad for the program, shootings and stuff. Jack McKeon, Ray Hudson. Oh, Ray Hudson. What's that under, Ray Hudson? Is it under Ray Hudson?
Ray Hudson.
This is Ray Hudson, Miami Fusion. I listen to the Joe Costello show. It's better than Spotted Dick, Toad in the Hole, and Bangers and Mash.
Wow. How do you like that? No wonder that show isn't on anymore. Alex Fernandez, Ed Reed. Who's Ed Reed?
Player.
Who?
A football player, safety.
George Smith? Never heard of him. Levon Hernandez, Ray Floyd, Jim Langer, Scott Mellenby's got 18 votes. The Don family. Oh, they had to vote for the Don. He made them an offer they couldn't refuse. That's the Gulfstream people, the Don family. Gino Toretta, Larry Beanstalk, Russell Maryland, and Louise Crocco round out the very unimpressive list. Not that they're all unimpressive, but it's just, Oh, there's so many people on here that nobody ever even heard of. But then again, that's the way it is when you do these online polls. Unlike our polls, which are extraordinarily scientific. You wouldn't know how to do a pole, Barry, if somebody stuck you on top of a flagpole. Timmy says, I was thinking about what you said, that Jefferson's was a way better show than Good Times. No, not than Good Times. I was talking, well, obviously, than Sanford and Son. And your listeners, me included, think Good Times is better. I think Good Times is better based on memorable sayings in episodes like Dynamite and Damn, 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 James. That's from the episode he died. Well, Jefferson's have nothing you really remember about or ain't famous sayings, so that makes it mediocre. Either way, Sanford and Son is my choice over both of these. See ya, says Timmy, who's probably 3 years old. Thank you so much, Timmy. Doesn't that look like familiar writing? I think it's a fake.
Sure, it's familiar.
Yeah, very familiar. And it's way better than Good Times, and even in the running. How is Good Times doing on here? It's way down there, huh?
73.
75 vote. 73 vote. Not even in the running, for Christ's sake. So what do you give me? Dynamite! Yeah, he was, very annoying. JJ, what is he annoying? Oh, not as annoying as our sales department, though. There's nobody in the world as annoying as...
Salespeople are iceholes.
Them. And that's because they just absolutely refuse. They don't care, and they will never care. Nothing's ever going to change. Ask me if I really care anymore.
Do you care anymore?
No, I really don't. I mean, I do, but I don't. You know what I mean by that? I do, but I don't. I would like to, but I can't afford emotionally and mentally, and just from a survival standpoint, I can't do it, because they're not going to change. They don't care about servicing and about... I mean, Duff is the exception there, Muff. Hey, Muff.
You fairy.
He actually, follows through, and we hear from him every now and then. He came in this morning, briefly. Not briefly enough, but briefly. But, tell me how to pronounce that guy's name, and he takes care of his clients, as opposed to people like Hank Guerrero, who are OTL Permanente. You know what that means, OTL?
No.
Out to lunch. AWOL. MIA. I don't mean Miami either. Missing in action. Hank Guerrero. Nolo contendere. Nolo non campus Venus.
Oh, God. Goodbye, Homer Bedloe. Sorry to see you going. Even though you were Charles Lane and played 100 roles, we'll always know you for Homer Bedloe.
You're fired.
Even when young, you looked real old. Just like Burt Mustin, nobody played a better cranky man with a visor on. And I'm the only one, I guess, who knows who you are.
Get that final payment? I'm throwing you out.
Hey, good for you, a chain smoker who lived to 102, and a good Jew who was typecast as a Republican.
Now, see here.
Now who's gonna make sure the rent is paid on time? Before you checked out, I'll bet you balanced your books.
See to it. Those reports are at my desk in the morning. If not, get out. You're fired.
From another great show, not Petticoat Junction. Did I ever watch that?
No.
Did you watch it?
A couple times. I mean, it was weak. There was nothing to it.
Pretty weak, yeah, pretty lame. Kind of like some of those other shows of the same genre, like Green Acres and Green Acre. You like that, though, right?
No, I like Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh, you like Beverly Hillbillies
Different
with the Jed Clampett.
Right, different. You never saw 5 minutes of it, or you'd think it was funny, too.
Jebediah. Right. Every show that he was on had somebody named Jebediah.
Right.
Like Barnaby Jones always gets his man. And his sidekick there, his partner gunslinger was Jebediah. Did we ever figure out if you're a fat-ass governor, if that was really his name, Jebediah?
I think so. That's what we heard.
Oh, no. John Nichols writes in The Nation, Monday night CNN debate between the candidates for the Democratic presidential nomination was billed as a dramatic departure from politics as usual. Unfortunately, aside from the fact that one aspiring questioner dressed like a Viking, the debate was only a little bit better than the one where CNN's Wolf Blitzkrieg was hogging the microphone. To be sure, the U-ers were more interesting, informed, and mercifully concise than Blitzkrieg, who managed to make himself the centerpiece of the last CNN debate. The YouTubers were at times as poignant and powerful as when Mary and Jen from Brooklyn asked the candidates, if you were elected president of the U.S., would you allow us to be married to each other? While most of the other contenders struggled to say no politely, Congressman Dennis Kucinich knocked that one out of the park by responding, Mary and Jen, the answer to your question is yes. But such sublime moments were rare. By and large, the so-called debate was dull. Maybe that's why I didn't watch it. Maybe I had like a premonition.
Year of his presidency. Because I think it is not that you promised the meeting.
Oh, there's Swillery. This time, with no blitzkrieg to blame, the candidates were the problem. They rarely aired differences, and even when they did, their approaches, with one notable exception, remained every bit as restrained and vapid as in the previous feel-good fests. Asked by a questioner to mention something they disliked about the candidate next to them, the contenders by and large confirmed their inability to think on their feet. New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson got a little laugh when he suggested that the other 7 candidates would best serve the country by joining his forthcoming administration. Former North Carolina Senator John Edwards, who's in a battle for his political life with New York Senator Hillary Clinton, couldn't even muster a political response to the YouTuber's request. Instead, he turned to Clinton and commented on her jacket. As in past debates, it fell to former Senator Mike Gravel to speak the truth about the fact that, despite the fuzziness of their presentations last night, the Democratic candidates differ fundamentally on issues ranging from war and peace to international trade to health care to civil rights and civil liberties and presidential accountability. Gravel, in a previous debate said the refusal of most of the candidates to rule out a nuclear attack on Iran scared him, responded to a question about what would change if a Democrat was elected by saying, "You're not going to see any change when these people get elected." "We're not united. I'm not united on many of their views," said Gravel, who proceeded to rip into Illinois Senator Barack Obama for saying that he didn't take money from lobbyists when, in fact, Obama has done so with abandon. Obama defended himself as well as he could, but that round went to Gravel. Gravel was the night's most refreshing response, but the most meaningful one, at least in terms of the preparation of the various contenders to deal with the demands of the global stage, came from New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, former congressman, cabinet secretary, and U.S. ambassador to the UN. "I'm Gabriel, and I'm Connie from a refugee camp near Darfur," began a YouTube video that inserted the issues of Sudanese genocide and the child refugees of Africa into the debate. "Before you answer this question, imagine yourself the parent of one of these children. What action do you commit to that will get these children back home to a safe Darfur and not letting it yet be another empty promise?" CNN's Anderson Pooper directed the question to Richardson, asking, "Governor Richardson, what are you going to do? Would you commit American troops?" "I was at that refugee camp," responded Richardson, "and there was a refugee, a woman who came up to me. She'd been raped, her husband had been killed, and she said, 'When is America going to start helping?' This is what I would do. It's diplomacy. It's getting UN peacekeeping troops and not African Union troops. It's getting China to pressure Sudan. It's getting the European Union to be part of economic sanctions in Sudan. It's called leadership. A no-fly zone, I believe, would be an option, but we have to be concerned about humanitarian workers being hurt by planes being shot. The answer here is caring about Africa. The answer here is not just thinking of our strategic interests as a country, as oil in Europe and the Middle East. It should be Africa, Asia, and Latin America, doing something about poverty, about AIDS, about refugees, about those who've been left behind. That's how we restore American leadership in this country," he said, and Richardson's response drew sustained applause. What the hell is that?
Your phone.
No. It says, Cooper pressed for clarity. "You say UN troops. Does that mean American troops?" "United Nations peacekeeping troops, that would be primarily Muslim troops. We need a permanent UN peacekeeping force stationed somewhere," said the most experienced diplomat in the race. "If we get a UN peacekeeping troops authorized for Darfur, there's some already there. It'll take 6 months for them to get there. Genocide is continuing there. 200,000 have died. Close to 2 million refugees in that region. America needs to respond with diplomacy, with diplomatic leadership." Can I respond to this one moment?
Why don't you?
Well, no, that's all it took. Notice that Richardson steadfastly avoided committing to sending U.S. troops to the region. The potentially disastrous proposal of Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Joe Biden of Delaware. "Why? Because we can," Biden claimed Monday night. The difference between Richardson and Biden was striking and instructive, as was the fact that Hillary Clinton, in her brief response, sided with Richardson. Even if the candidates did not, for the most part, do a good job of delineating the distinctions between them, those distinctions are real, and they need to be highlighted in a more systematic and effective manner than CNN has done with either Wolf Blitzkrieg or the bells and whistles of the YouTube debate. That's what John Nichols says. Didn't watch it. George watched it, though, and he thought it was riveting.
What?
Why would anybody...
I would rather have been riveting.
Yeah, well, maybe you would rather have been riveting Cordes' girlfriend.
Is there any doubt?
Yeah, there is no doubt. Now, is there going to be a repeat performance of that? Is he going to go up
at least the three of us who went out decided that we had a great time and would like very much to do that again.
To do it again?
Yeah.
Wow. I see. I could go off on a rant about the sales department. It will last till 5, 6 o'clock this afternoon, okay? But I'm not going to do it. I mean, what would be the point? Is it going to change anything?
No.
Have I done it a million times already?
Yes.
It is just disturbing to work with people and around people. I'm not around them, thank God, anymore, but with people who just don't care. You know that expression that Hallmark uses, we care enough to send our very best? They don't care enough to send anything. They just, everything is like we're doing the limbo rock. We're in limbo. It's like those people at the tea room in the Westland at Hialeah. In limbo. Squatting, crawling underneath the tea room stalls. We got 1,155 votes on the poll. Everybody's got at least one. What's happening now? The Steve Harvey Show, the Parkers, the Parenthood, Malcolm and Eddie, and in the house each have one. And Moesha, she's all the way up to a pair. Moesha's got a pair. But from what you said, I don't know, well, you've never seen her. Or you did see her?
I saw her. I know who Brandy is. Sure. She's pretty. Really pretty.
She's pretty, but the show's pretty awful, evidently.
That's not for me.
Nicht von mir?
Yeah. Da.
As the Chinese would say. What's your favorite black TV series from the past? Sanford and Son 370, kicking big, fat, nasty ass of any color or shape or variety. 370. The Jeffersons 175. I'm amazed. In Living Color 103. What did I tell you? They hopped above Amos and Andy, which is probably pretty easy because Amos and Andy are both dead. I think. The Cosby Show 81, Good Time 75, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air 48, The Wayans Brothers 26, Fat Albert 25, Different Strokes 25, What's Happening 19, Roots 18, The Bernie Mac Show 17, Family Matters 13, Martin 12, 227 had 9, and all the other single digits. All the others, like Frankie Pentangeli, small potatoes. 12:55 at QM Mad Dog coming up at 2 o'clock. It's the regular schedule day. We got the Humper in the house. Humper in the house.
Okay.
Yeah, I was waiting for response. Like,
sure. I was trying to think of the appropriate one.
Or someplace else.
Or behind
This is the reward. When you calm down now, please. I have a very important spot to do. Gary Sarner, by the way, is a major a-hole. Did I mention that last week? I just want to mention it again this week. And Chris chimed in last week that he hates him like poison. Didn't you say that?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, because he's got a big ego and his own secretary, and he thinks his stuff don't stink. That's Gary Sarner, by the way, from the unctuous QM sales department.
It's Scott Burrell. And when I'm up in Boca Chica slapping old women with painted lips around the pool,
I listen to the Neil Rogers 1 to 2 hour.
I listen to the Neil Rogers Fair and Balanced 1 to 2 hour.
Hey, Burrell.
What?
By the way, son, I've been giving it some thought, see? What do you think of this? I knows that me and you can do much better going 6 to 10 and not at 5. A Gentile and a cranky Jew. I think we might be happy together.
I think you really gone out of your mind. You gotta have your wee-wee bag strapped on too tight. No chance I'll do a show with you. I'd rather die. We'd be crappy together.
Why, I'll have you know that I'm a big muffy Jew from Brooklyn Heights. I've been rated by everybody but you. You're not my type.
Me and Mo, that would blow. No way that if we had a fight that you'd survive. Who'd wanna hear a genitile and pushy type? That's crappy together.
A show with you and me, for me, is much better 6 to 10, not 5. It's only right that I should get more sleep at night. I think we might be happy together. Happy together.
What you see me, man?
Oh, we're going to make 1,200 votes on the poll today, and Chris is going to be running around naked up and down Iversbury Road, screaming and yelling and singing like a wild man, aren't you, with that baseball hat on?
No.
Have you ever worn a hat in your life? Do you know the difference between a hat and a cap?
What's the difference?
You really don't know the difference?
So would a hat be like a bowler and those things?
That would be one of them, yeah.
A fedora?
A fedora is a type of hat, right?
A 10-gallon?
10-gallon hat. Texas 10-gallon hat, right.
Okay, so I guess I wear caps then.
Does it really make a difference?
No.
I can just see you with one of those big Stetson hats.
Of course.
Did George leave us, or is he?
No, right here.
Oh, okay.
Email. By the way, got an email.
You got an
Jeb
email
stands for John Ellis Bush. From someone.
It stands for what?
John Ellis.
Since when is John Jeb?
John
J-E-B, John Ellis Bush.
Oh, I
his
see.
Initials.
Oh, I see. It's the initials of his whole name. Well, that doesn't make any sense. That's like redundancy. That's like fat-ass Jeb Bush. It's redundant. Jeb stands for John Ellis Bush?
That's what the guy says. Why would he lie?
No, I'm sure the guy's right, you know. In a strongly worded column published in there. By the way, I didn't take any calls yet today, you know what? And it's already 1:03. I think we may not be doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you what? Well, you didn't put them on hold the other day when I took them. Didn't put them on hold, and I took them cold. And they were okay, you know, and I don't want to push my luck. Press My Luck. Wasn't that the name of that show? Press My Luck. Bad show. No whammies. Whammy! And my favorite was the day when that bitch came up and said...
Whammy! God, it sucks.
That was my favorite. Bitch. Well, I mean, a nice lady wouldn't have said that, but she was a bitch. Who was that said that? That wasn't Anna Marie, was it?
Yes.
That was Anna Marie?
Anna Maria.
That you were always chasing around and there were a lot of rumors about? Oh.
Mm-hmm. That's the one.
In a strongly worded column published in Monday's New York Times, assistant editor Adam Cohen argues that America's founding fathers feared an imperial presidency such as George W. Bush's when drafting the Constitution. Cohen, a lawyer and member of the Times editorial board since 2002, writes, "The nation is heading toward a constitutional showdown over the war in Iraq. Congress is moving closer to passing a bill to limit or end the war, but President Bush insists Congress doesn't have the power to do it. I don't think Congress ought to be running the war," he said at a recent press conference. "I think they ought to be funding the troops." He added magnanimously, "I'm certainly interested in their opinion." The war is hardly the only area where the Bush administration is trying to expand its powers beyond all legal justification, Cohen continues, but the danger of an imperial presidency is especially great when a president takes the nation to war, something the founding fathers understood well. In the looming showdown, the founders and the Constitution are firmly on Congress's side. The founders would have been astonished by Bush's assertion that Congress should simply write him a blank check for war. They gave Congress the power of the purse and would have leverage to force the president to execute their laws properly. Madison described Congress's control over spending as the most complete and effectual weapon with any Constitution can arm the immediate representatives of the people for obtaining redress of every grievance or for carrying into effect every just and salutary measure. Members of Congress should not be intimidated into thinking that they're overstepping their constitutional bounds. If the founders were looking on now, it's not Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi who would strike them as out of line, but George W. Bush, who would seem less like a president than a king. That's what the New York Times be saying. Adam Cohen. Sounds like his brother Marty.
Boy!
Good Jewish boy, Marty Cohen.
Right.
He's been dead a long time. Marty Cohen takes us back to the KAT and Craig Worthing days. Marty Cohen, boxing promoter. Harness racing, former driver and owner. Let's talk some harness racing. What do you say, huh?
No.
Let's talk about George Schulte.
Who?
Stanley Dancer. And Del Miller. And Billy Houghton and Peter Houghton. Are they still racing? I mean, you know, the interesting part of it is, I don't want to go into it because it'll get me back to the sales department again. I'll get very angry. Like when Michael was talking to Carlo in The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
And he got him a glass of booze.
Yeah.
Was it Tattaglia or Barzini? It was Barzini.
Mm.
Good. Because when you lie to me, it makes me very angry. I saw that scene again last night. That's why it's fresh in my mind.
That's a great scene. Well, they're all great scenes. I mean, that.
Yeah.
Why even say that?
Yeah. And he gets in. They shove him into the car to take him ostensibly to the airport. And the only thing that was pretty ridiculous about that, I mean, here are these people who kill at the drop of a hat, and they felt that they had to go through the dog and pony show of having a plane ticket to Vegas.
Yeah.
Remember that? He gives him the plane ticket before he gets in the car to convince him, I guess, to just go in the car. Why couldn't they just kill him in the house? And you'll notice another thing. Almost everybody in that movie gets killed in the car. Not everybody.
A lot of people do, but that's to keep things tidy. Like, you want to take the body somewhere to dump it anyway, so it's handier if you do the business in the car.
I've done my business in the car, and it wasn't very handy either.
I heard that story.
I traded that car. I traded in.
It screws up all my arrangements.
Yeah, exactly. My arrangements. And he looks back at Tom Hagen, and he's got that look, and he knows what the answer is going to be, you know. He knows exactly what it's going to be, and he says,
Tom, can you get me off the hook? For time's sake.
Can't do it, Sally.
Can't do it, Sally. And Robert Duvall, his eyes shift over to the car, you know, and that little shift of the nod of the head, like take him away and bada bing, like that. Yeah, Paulie, won't see him no more. That was in the car, right?
Right.
And then Carlo Clemenza just happens to be sitting directly behind him, which I guess he didn't find unusual. Oh, hi, Carlo. I like the part where his feet kick out the windshield. Sure. That's good. I hope they're watching those auto glass spots when they were doing that. Probably had to replace a lot of windshields in those old cars. Former White House counsel Harriet Miers and Joshua Bolton, the current chief of staff to President George W. Bush, will likely be charged with contempt by the House Judiciary Committee tomorrow. This investigation, including the reluctant but necessary decision to move forward with contempt, has been a very deliberative process, taking care at each step to respect the executive branch's legitimate prerogative, said Representative John Conyers, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, in a statement. I've allowed the White House and Ms. Miers every opportunity to cooperate with this investigation, either voluntarily or under subpoena. It is still my hope that they'll reconsider this hardline position.
No.
Never happened. And cooperate with our investigation so we can get to the bottom of this matter. Through an attorney, Miers had earlier stated that she doesn't fear contempt charges. She refused to comply with a subpoena and appear before the House committee on July 12th as part of the investigation into the firing of those 9 U.S. attorneys. Bolton has also failed to turn over documents sought by House Democrats. The Bush chief of staff was ordered to comply with a subpoena by 10 o'clock this morning. We hit Bruno Tattaglia 3 o'clock this morning. Remember the sad way that Tessio said that?
Right.
Almost in tears. We hit Bruno. And anyway. See, that's I got to stop watching that because I have to get all those lines out of my mind. Because what is that going to... Huh?
Why?
I don't know.
You do the whole show in Godfather speak.
I always liked it.
Always liked it.
He knows that.
What's the matter with you?
I told you that he got buried alongside... He had kept Wally Cox's ashes all of those years after Wally Cox croaked. And when Marlon Brando died, they got buried in the desert together. Both of their ashes got strewn in the desert. You don't find that interesting?
I don't know. Maybe.
You don't find that symbolic?
No.
You don't find that a little bit gay? Kind of like gay Edgar Hoover got buried right next to, what was his boyfriend's name? Clyde Tolson, that's right.
I thought they got,
he wasn't related to Deacon Dolson from that really good movie with Jack Lemmon. What was that? Mass Appeal.
I don't know. I heard they got buried in the same coffin, though. That's the story I got.
Yeah, side by each, or who was the top and who was the bottom.
Well, gay was
Monday afternoon's... just move along, okay? In Monday afternoon's press conference, White House Press Secretary Tony Snow dismissed the contempt charge as a fishing expedition that's woefully short on fish. He repeated the White House's offer for off-the-record interviews for officials like Miers on the U.S. Attorney findings and suggested that the Justice Department was unlikely to proceed with contempt charges if precedent is any guide. However, he insisted the White House would not make that judgment for the Justice Department. He leave that up to them. They have to make that determination, he be saying. After a vote is held in the committee, the contempt charges must be passed by a full House of Representatives. Speaker Nancy Pelosi suggested Saturday she would support contempt charges, at least for Harriet Miers. Well, I guess maybe she grew a little tiny pair, Nancy Pelosi. Wow, what a bitch. Weak. Weak sisters, baby. That's the Democratic Party. And when Ted Kennedy croaks, and of course that will happen someday, and we got Russ Feingold there in Wisconsin. In fact, I got an article about him coming. I may actually have to read it, even though Miguel would be upset. Do you think Miguel is listening? I doubt it.
Yes.
Why do you say that?
He listened before, during, and after his employment.
Even when I was reading the bedtime stories? Even when I wasn't taking those great calls that he loved so much?
Even so. He's a big Neely. Always has
Well, we miss him badly. And they really screwed up bad, when they brought up all Jersey Joe's buddies, Jolly Raleigh Joe, wherever the hell he's from. All his buddies, man, they're getting all kinds of trouble and getting the thing towed. That's what I was told by you, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
I think you told me some bad information, but that's okay. Rip them an ass because they deserve it. The Raleigh Mafia is taking over, baby.
God, is that thing real?
Yeah! Ain't ready. What's up, y'all? This your boy G Mike. See, I usually do songs with like hooks and concepts and shit, right? But f that, man, I'm trying to go platinum. So I'm about to rock this shit. Check this out, y'all. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O-O-K. 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 Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a month. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a month. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a month. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a month. Book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O-O-K. 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 Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Body needs water, so drink that shit. Body needs water, so drink that shit. Your body needs water, so drink that shit. Your body needs water, so drink that shit. Buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Where deodorant, 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 where deodorant. Coffee stick, it's not expensive. It's coffee stick, it's not expensive. It's coffee stick, it's not expensive. It's coffee stick, it's not expensive. Read a book, read a book, read a month. Book, read a book, read a book, read a month. Book, read a book, read a book, read a month. Book, read a book, read a book, read a month. Book, R-E-A-D-A-B-O.
Oh, there he goes again. They're trying to tell him, don't do it, old man, don't do it. He keeps playing that thing. Oh, gee, it's so long. Well, the fact that it's so long, that makes it even that much better, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
For me.
For all of us.
I don't care what anybody says. That is such a, it's just so good, you know?
I think it's one for the ages.
One for the ages, yeah. What age? About 5?
Whatever that means, yeah. The dark ages.
1185 under for the dark ages. Now, that sounded like a racial thing to me. You better watch yourself. Mr. Bokamper's going to be cutting you a big ass on the air tomorrow. He's going to be slicing and dicing, baby. Remember Mike Dyson?
Yeah.
1185 on the poll. We got 1,200 million, man. In the shade. In fact, it would be kind of amusing to see. What does it say on the... we need... Now, that can't be right. 4/10 of vote per minute to get to 1,200? Well, we got 40 minutes. That's not... Well, I guess that is right. 4/10 of vote per minute, and we'll get to 1,200. And we got 1188. That's really great. We'll make 1,200 before the bottom of the hour. And if Chris would have really pushed it, we could have made like maybe 12:15, something like that.
Exactly.
Don't be knocking at read a book, okay? And when I'm on, I'm still playing it, okay? If you don't want to play it, don't play it. Don't come crying to me about, oh, geez, what happened? You know, these people turned on me. That's because you're not playing that bit. And they're pretty PO'd with your attitude. Although they like those pictures of you and what's her name?
Yeah.
What is her name?
Who doesn't?
Svetlana?
Yes.
No, seriously, what is her name?
Bibi.
Bibi?
Her real name?
No, well, listen, don't start giving out too much information on the air. That's not a good idea. Not with our crowd.
Natasha?
Is that her name? Natasha?
Sure.
Svetlana?
Right.
Sveti? Is she a little on the Sveti side?
Eventually.
And, you know, the interesting part of it is to show... See, one thing I like about Josh Cordes, and there's not too much else, but no, one thing I do like, is the fact that he didn't give a crap. In other words, he's saying, he's
Of course
laughing.
not.
He's saying, I mean, am I going to continue having a great time out there in Vegas, or am I going to come rushing back early because George is,
he knew all about it up front.
Right, and I understand that. But that's not the point. In other words, he wasn't the least bit concerned. He was having a great time out there.
That's right.
And, not necessarily losing his ass. What did he say? He lost $300 and some bucks?
Yeah, he was ahead until like the last day or something.
Not a lot. He said like $4, $50, whatever. And then
that's the way to do it, though.
Yeah, stretch it out. That would be a good idea for Woodbine, is to stay ahead the whole time and then lose your ass right just before you leave and get disgusted and run out. This place sucks. Like that. Which that does happen a lot. Well, I'm glad he's got a really good attitude about it, and I'm glad he also enjoyed that $1,000 I sent him. But that wasn't just $1,000 out of thin air. You better remind me to send you that $100.
Hey, don't forget to send me that $1,000.
Yeah, there might be a zero. It might be a missing zero on there. It might be $10.
That's all right. I'll insert it.
In fact, with inflation and everything, it might be
$8.
Yeah, especially with all that postage.
I'm going to turn the period into a comma.
Are you really? 1188 on the poll. I thought we just had 1188. Christina? 1189, like I said. Boy, it's a good thing that it moved there, or I'd start getting really afeared of what is going on with Eric up there. He told me a long time ago, and it was one of those times I actually spoke to him, which I try to avoid. And not that I don't like Eric. Eric is fine, but he gets a little emotional about these things. Whoa! You're the one that made that up anyway.
Right.
But he told me that he can manipulate that poll, and I'm not saying this because I want him to do it. Don't mess with the poll today, Fatso. But he can make it appear like we had whatever number of votes, and he can change the individual votes, and he can do whatever he wants with it. He can diddle the poll.
Right.
Absolutely.
Now, Chris can't do that? You don't have the ability to do that? Good. Because Eric isn't going to do that because Eric respects the show, but in your case, being,
Oh, yeah, I would totally do that, yeah.
A guy that wears a baseball cap about 3 sizes too tight?
No.
Now, somebody did make a comment. Where the hell was I reading that? I guess maybe I saw it on TV or maybe I read it in the funny papers, but about Barry Bonds' head being so big because of the roids,
Correct.
Well, did you think that your head grows?
When you're taking human growth hormone, yeah.
You get that big old jaw thing going.
Yeah, but I wonder if that grows.
Yeah, in the wrong direction.
In the wrong what? Oh, direction. Liberal Democratic Senator Russ Feingold said Sunday he wants Congress to censure President Bush for his mismanagement of the Iraq War and his assault against the Constitution, his assault. But Feingold's own party leader in the Senate showed little interest in the idea. An attempt in 2006 by Feingold to censure Bush over the warrantless spying program attracted only 3 co-sponsors. Feingold, a prominent critic of the war, said he soon plans to offer 2 censure resolutions, measures that would amount to a formal condemnation of the Republican president. The first would seek to reprimand Bush for, as Feingold described it, getting the nation into war without adequate military preparation and for issuing misleading public statements, in other words, a.k.a. lying. The resolution would also cite Vice President Cheney and perhaps other administration officials. The second measure would seek to censure Bush for what the Democrat called a continuous assault against the rule of law through such efforts as the warrantless surveillance program against suspected terrorists, Feingold said. It would also ask for a reprimand of Attorney General Gonzalez and maybe others. All of these things. This is an opportunity for people to say, let's at least reflect on the record that something terrible has happened here, said Feingold. The administration has weakened America in a way that is frightful. And I would say to him, you are
absolutely correct, sir.
But then again, you're surrounded by a bunch of weak-kneed Democrats, is what you're surrounded by. You can't complain about the two-party system in America, baby, because it sucks. It blows. 1190, they're coming in, they're creeping in by the ones now. It's a good thing we didn't set some wild, like 1250, something like that. They're coming in by the ones now, just to make you sweat a little bit. And according to Eric, you need 3/10 of a vote per minute just to get to 1,200.
I think we can do it.
And I think you can do it. Don't say we, okay?
Okay.
Don't say we, white man. You know what Defoe used to say on that show? He was a real... Whatever happened with all that? Well, what was the... What was the end result of that? Besides the fact he got blown out of this station.
He had some house arrest he had to attend to.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. He had an ankle bracelet.
That's right.
Huh. Well, it's okay. When you got the phone, you can always get in touch with your bookie, right? That's what the Humper said. Remember that time when the Humper was had to leave the show and go out in the hall to talk to his bookie in the middle of a,
It's the story.
I was there. It's a story about a little lady.
Brittians, dumb as dirt.
Absolutely.
What you doing on this flight? I'll just put my feet where I think they belong. You wanted to be all alone, but I had the seat in 17B. Oi! You pushed my leg over, but I survived. I think you're just pitiful to say that my leg takes up your room.
You failed.
I'm not homosexual.
You failed.
I know one bitch when I see one. Yes, you got a nasal phone.
You failed.
Saying my foot smell you can't stand. Yes, that fight was almost canned because you were pitiful. Gosh, how I hate women, but I'm not homosexual.
You failed.
Really? I'm not.
1,203 votes on the poll. We got our 1,200, Chris. You ought to be really proud. One question for Clay Aiken.
Have you made your decision for Christ?
That's what America is waiting to hear, yeah? Who cares about him? I put him and Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton and who are some of the other ones that we're supposed to be all whipped up about?
Oh, the Beckhams. Don't forget the Beckhams.
Oh, the Beckhams, of course. David Beckham and the lovely, whatever her name is, Beckham. What was her name?
Posh Victoria.
Whoa. Oh, the Posh Spice. Yeah, Spice is nice, and Dice and Vice and Lice. John Nichols has an article called Censure and Impeachment. It's right hot on the heels of that Russ Feingold thing because he mentioned it. Is that the reason I'm reading it now? Yes. John Nichols in The Nation says there's every reason to be enthusiastic about Senator Russ Feingold's decision to ask the Senate to consider a pair of censure resolutions condemning the President, Vice President, and other administration officials for misconduct relating to the war in Iraq and for their repeated assaults on the rule of law. Indeed, as the movement to impeach Bush and Cheney attracts more support with each passing day, Feingold's resolution should be seen as evidence that the essential American principle of presidential accountability is finally being put back on the table by responsible members of Congress. Feingold is renewing and extending a call for censure that the Wisconsin Democrat initially made in March of last year. The senator now proposes one resolution censuring the President, the Vice President, and their aides for overstating the case that Saddam Hussein had WMDs, especially nuclear weapons, and falsely implying a relationship with Al-Qaeda and links to 9/11. For failing to plan for the civil conflict and humanitarian problems that the intelligence community predicted, for overstretching the Army, Marine Corps, and Guard with prolonged deployments, and for justifying U.S. military involvement in Iraq by repeatedly distorting the situation on the ground there. A second resolution would censure the administration for approving the illegal NSA warrantless wiretapping program, for promoting extreme policies on torture, the Geneva Conventions, and detainees at Gitmo, and for refusing to recognize legitimate congressional oversight of the improper firing of U.S. attorneys. Feingold, a constitutional scholar, is well aware that these misdeeds of George Bush, Dick Cheney, and their minions fall, as the senator has suggested, right in the strike zone of the concept of high crimes and misdemeanors. He has frequently suggested he wouldn't rule out any form of accountability, including an impeachment inquiry beginning with proper investigation and hearings. But as a senator, Feingold cannot initiate an impeachment. The founders wisely rested that power with members of the U.S. House. The drafters of the Constitution feared that the Senate, which was initially conceived of as an appointed chamber, more akin to the British House of Lords than the elected body it's become, would be too formal and cautious about holding presidents and vice presidents to account. So they gave the authority to impeach members of the executive branch to the House, which was elected from districts and, as a result, more closely in tune with the ebbs and flows of popular sentiment. James Madison, George Mason, other essential authors of the Constitution and Bill of Rights wanted impeachment to be a popular process, and the House was a more populist chamber. That said, they didn't intend for senators to sit idly by while high crimes and misdemeanors were committed. Feingold is right to describe his censure motion as a relatively modest response, but they're precisely the response that a senator can and should propose. Censure is about holding the administration accountable, Feingold says. Congress needs to formally condemn the President, members of the administration for misconduct before and during the Iraq War, and for undermining the rule of law at home. Censure is not a cure for the devastating toll this administration's actions have taken on the country, but when the future generations look back at the terrible misconduct of the administration, they need to see that a co-equal branch of government stood up and held to account those who violated the principles on which this nation was founded. Censure is not the cure, impeachment is. But censuring Bush and Cheney ought not be seen as a compromise or an insufficient response to the crisis. It is a senatorial compliment to the burgeoning movement for impeachment, a movement that today delivered, meaning yesterday, petitions with more than 1 million signatures to Congressman John Conyers, appealing to him to begin impeachment proceedings. Conyers, it should be noted, indicated at a recent meeting, well, that's the San Diego thing, and now he changed his mind again. Doesn't have the votes. Supporting Feingold's censure resolution should not distract from nor negate the push for impeachment. Rather, moves to get the Senate to censure Bush and Cheney ought to be seen as vital pieces of the broader struggle to hold this administration to account. Soon, please, soon. Bada beep, bada boop, bada bop, and the beat goes on, and the bodies continue rolling in, Won't be too long, 4,000 dead soldiers, and for what, So that murderer, butcher, lunatic. Yeah, that's right. 1,219 votes on the poll today.
Well, we're moving on now.
With the wrong result. I mean, there's no comparison. I mean, maybe Sanford and Son was like, what, 100 years ago?
At least.
I mean, it's an old show. Now, who was on a Red Fox and who else?
Nobody that you've ever heard of.
See, and that's why you don't know who it was.
DeMond Wilson.
DeMond Wilson. Well, he used to be on Hollywood Squares, for Christ's sakes. I always wondered where the hell he came from. I mean, I know he was a dark guy, but, so was there a lot of other guys. DeMond Wilson. Is he dead?
I don't know.
What about Peter Marshall? Do you think he's dead? From the original Hollywood Squares?
I don't know.
Now, who was that goofball they brought back when they did Hollywood Squares the second time, and then they had the nerve to put Whoopi Goldberg on there? Oh, my God. I just can't look at her. Does that make me a bad person? Does that make me a racist? I can't look at her. I get physically ill.
He's still
again, Rosie is white and a bull dyke, and I can't look at her either. Gets me physically ill.
DeMond Wilson is still alive.
Well, thank God for that. Now, how are you spelling that? I can't believe that you actually found it. Isn't it D-E-S?
D-E-M-O-N-D.
Oh, no S.
Like it sounds.
Oh, Demond. The world.
You were thinking Desmond?
Yeah, Desmond. I know a lot of black guys named that. I don't know anybody named Demond either, do you? Do you know any other Demond?
Just him.
Just him.
I heard he was in Great Demond after that appearance on Sanford and Son.
I heard he Demond.
He Demond. You Demond, whatever. Yeah, and, of course, anybody who never saw the old Hollywood Squares, they don't know who the hell we're talking about. But that's okay. Charlie Weaver, they don't know either, and George Goebel. And Paul Lynde. Everybody knows Paul Lynde, just even from only Bewitched. Am I right?
Right.
Hey, Paul.
You fairy.
He don't mind. He's dead. Favorite black... I guess I should play it. There we go. Sanford and Son kicking big smelly ass today, baby. Although the margin has been cut down because I've been pushing the Jeffersons a lot. Especially since I got that hostile facts about, the Jeffersons, there are no memorable lines, Well, what does that mean? There's no memorable lines? How about eat it? Eat it. How about Meathead? Do you think there's anybody who don't remember him calling...
Isn't that All in the Family?
What?
Eat It and Meathead.
Yeah. Well, but this was a spin-off from All in the Family. I'm trying to make the connection. You're taking it all very literal now, see? It's business, and you're taking it personal.
Not me.
The Jeffersons. I don't know, Wheezy. I mean, that's not a line, but who don't remember Wheezy, right?
Right.
Every character on that show was good. Now, what was the maid, Florence?
Right.
Ooh, child. That's all she ever used to say, child. Everything was child this, child that. Child. She was good. And, of course, Wheezy. Now, didn't she just die, Wheezy?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, she died. She'd be dead. Wheezy. She was good. She was fat, though. And you know what happens? First you're fat, and then you know what happens after that? Then you're dead.
Yeah. There is evil lurking in the aisles of your friendly neighborhood Walmart.
Dude, let's steal these CDs. Cool.
But there's one man willing to roll back crime.
Excuse me, can I help you, youngster?
Oh, no! It's the greeter!
The Greeter! A senior citizen superhero that always saves the day.
Help! That man stole my purse!
Don't worry, I'll stop him. Hi-ho mobility chair and away!
The Greeter. Justice wears trifocals and a denture smile.
Here's your purse, Missy. Now, I must be going. It's bingo night.
My hero.
Walmart shoppers beware of falling prices. Evildoers beware of falling prey to the Greeter.
Maybe now you know why I keep playing that read a book. 1,247 votes on the poll, by the way. Pretty heavy duty for the 24 de Julio. Wouldn't you say?
What'd you call me?
I said heavy duty. Mayor Jim Naugle, speaking of crap, issued a public apology on the steps of City Hall this afternoon, but it wasn't the apology the gay community was looking for. Naugle apologized for underestimating the problem of men having sex with each other in public restrooms and urged people to call police to complain when they come upon it, so to speak. He also said Broward... He also said Broward County leads the nation in the... Did I tell you how old you look at those pictures, by the way?
Yeah.
Leads the nation in the incidence of new AIDS cases involving men having sex with men, and questioned whether the county tourism orifice should be welcoming them here. Naugle alerted the media that he was holding a news conference that would include an apology. Gay activists and others have been calling for a public apology from the mayor and for his resignation since the Sun-Sentinel published Naugle's comments earlier this month about gays. In an article about a proposed self-cleaning automatic toilet the city was going to buy for the beach, Naugle said... an added benefit that will deter men from using it for homosexual activity, which he said was a problem in public restrooms. He also said he uses the term homosexual rather than gay because gays are unhappy. Not that he would generalize, but gays are unhappy. The mayor's comments led to formation of a group called Unite Fort Lauderdale, which is holding a rally at City Hall tonight where a long list of elected officials and others will be speaking. I want to apologize to the children and parents of our community, the mayor said, for not being aware of the problem. He said a website about cruising for sex directs people to two city parks, and he asked responsible members of the homosexual community to work with him to get those parks off the website. He was flanked by conservative Reverend O'Neill Dozier, who pointed at the lightning and rain and raised his eyebrows to a local gay activist, Anthony Nidwicki, whose partner Wayman Hudson organized the anti-Naugle group. "It's raining on you," Nidwicki shouted back. Well, whatever that means. They're raising their eyebrows and they're pointing their fingers, and it's raining, and the Lord works in mysterious ways, and it's lightning and thundering, and God is really pissed off because Jim Naugle's a lunatic, a raving maniac, okay? And he fits right in South Florida. Fits right in perfect. But at any rate, you're a town, man.
Yeah, I'll be sure to call the cops whenever I see that, you know.
Yeah, if you ever encounter...
If I ever do.
Well, you never know. Speaking of crazy people, Mitt Romney. Some right-wing pundits like Rush Limbaugh have been making hay for a few years out of the chance similarity between the last name of Senator Barack Obama and the first name of Osama bin Laden, but the attempt to associate the two in public awareness has become increasingly insistent since Obama emerged last winter as a leading presidential candidate. At the same time, some media outlets have come under fire for mixing up the two, whether purposely or accidentally. Earlier this year, CNN mixed up the names in a graphic that asked, "Where's Obama?" instead of the intended, "Where's Osama?" A spokesman for Obama told Raw's Story at the time he thought there was no malicious intent behind the CNN graphic, and CNN host Wolf Blitzkrieg even offered a personal apology to Obama for the error. You know Wolf Blitzkrieg?
I know him well.
Also, as Media Matters noted, News Radio 850 KOA host Mike Rosen referred to Barack Osama 3 times in the segment and later claimed that he made a mistake, explaining that because of the mindset we have where we're familiar with Osama bin Laden, it's easy to say Osama instead of Obama. Right. But now a leading Republican presidential contender has entered the fray. On Saturday, a gossip website posted photographs of former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney posing with and holding a supporter sign that reads, "No to Obama, Osama, and Chelsea's mama." Your mama. Did you see that?
We just had a lightning strike over here, so we're going to go out.
Are we still on the air?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, you know.
This kind of smallness is what makes Americans so tired of politics and points precisely to why they want change in Washington, Obama spokesman Bill Burton told ABC's Political Punch blog. So far, Romney's refused to apologize or even to criticize the sign's association of a Democratic candidate with a terrorist leader. Almost seeming to defend the sign, Romney campaign spokesman Kevin Madden told Talking Points Members Election Central blog this was just an alliterative play on words and claimed, "I don't think it was equating or comparing anybody." Right. At the popular community blog Daily Cost, a user named Wardeen writes, "This is spin, pure and simple, and rather poor spin at that." Mr. Madden's spin on this doesn't hold water, especially with one of the pictures showing him actually holding the sign in his hands. Since Mr. Romney's been a politician for quite some time now, he or his handlers would have been sensitive to anyone carrying signs with which they had problems. Alliteration is rooted in the repetition of consonants, not of vowels or syllables, complains a user named Rock Nation in the Democratic Underground Forum. Osama Obama's mama is rhyming play on words. Mitt's macaca moment now, that's alliteration. Macaca. Maybe he knows Senator Makakowicz. Caca. Question about the photograph at a town hall event in New Hampshire. The former Massachusetts governor pleaded ignorance. Well, I think I agree with that.
Yeah, guilty.
I don't really spend all that much time looking at the signs and the T-shirts and the buttons, he told a questioner from the Buckeye State blog. He then admonished him to lighten up when the blogger continued to yell about the sign. There are a lot of jokes out there. He said, I'm not responsible for all the signs I see. The Romney campaign didn't return a call or email from Ross Story seeking further comment. In addition to Rush Limbaugh's frequent use of the Osama-Obama phrase and CNN's apparent goof, Fox News chairman Roger Ailes also made a similar comparison in a speech this March to the Radio and TV News Directors Foundation. And it is true that Barack Obama's on the move, Ailes said. I don't know if it's true that President Bush called him a sheriff and said, why can't we catch this guy? Nevada Democrats said that Joe crossed the line and cited it as the reason the state party decided to pull out of an agreement with Fox News to co-host a debate among Democratic presidential candidates. Here's something you'll be very pleased to know as a father of a young child.
Yeah.
11 U.S. big producers of chocolates, fries, sodas, and sugary cereals pledged to cut back advertising aimed at kids to help fight child obesity.
Yeah, it was a settlement. They're so magnanimous.
Well, if you let me continue. To head off being forced off the air by law, major corporations like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Mars, and Kellogg said this week they'll pare back ads during TV programming where the audiences are over half children under 12 years of age. Candy maker Cadbury Adams said it would stop running ads for its super sweet bubblegums beginning March 2008. Soft drink and food conglomerate PepsiCo said it would limit its under 12 directed pitches to its sports rehydration drink Gatorade and its low-fat baked Cheetos snacks. The initiative was promoted by the U.S. FTC and the Council of Better Business Bureau as a self-regulating business group. The others in the group include Campbell Soup Company, General Mills, Hershey Foods, Unilever, and last but in your case not least, Kraft Foods. That's the one. I saved that just for you. Kraft.
Yeah. Which Kraft?
I don't know why you have this bug up your ass about Kraft.
Shall we go over it again?
Yeah,
for the 20th time.
Real briefly.
They're a factory farm organization. They don't grow anything real.
1,263 votes.
Bat.
Yeah.
Everything tastes the same, which is like crap.
Kraft.
Right, crap. Everything's made out of sugar booger. Everything has that pasteurized, processed, rubbery flavor to it.
Right, like
and
the
they
cheese.
stole my money at Epcot Center.
At the what?
At the Epcot Center.
Oh, that's right. You told that story just see?
Mm-hmm.
Out of sight, out of mind. Even Chris remembers that story, don't you?
No.
Well, let me just say this to you. It wasn't that good that we want to hear it again.
No, it wasn't good. It was just aggravating.
In fact, I'll tell you what wasn't that good that I want to see it again. But that's kicking ass. 1,266 votes. Sanford and Son, favorite TV black show from the past, 381. The Jeffersons, 226. Nolo Contendere, baby, not even a contest. Keeping in mind, lots of folks love their vanilla ice cream.
It's day in Miami town at 560 WQAM. Phil Spector, he's the man with a lot of guns. He keeps for fun. And if Phil Spector asks you out when you're at the House of Blues, you should refuse. At his home he'll say you must stay here, for he knows it's a gun you will fear. I would rather see Hannibal Lecter than go on a date with Mr. Phil Spector. On his walls are lots of records of gold. You'll end up cold. I'm dying over here, dead and cold.